Please find your seats. Please find your seats. The meeting's going to begin. Welcome to the Lucia Mar Unified School District Board of Education meeting, our regularly scheduled meeting. We've been in closed session since 5:30, and I have something to report out under announcement of closed session items. The board voted to approve a settlement in OAH case number 202501031 by a vote of 6-4 and 1 against, with 0 abstaining. The agreement resolves all claims related to the provision of special education services for a student during the 2022-23 school year, 2023-24 school year, and 2024-25 school years, and also resolves all future obligations regarding the student for a total of $240,000 in educational programming for the student during the 2024-25, 2025-26, and the 2026-27 school years, and the district paid $22,000 in attorney's fees. Dr. Fawcett, would you like to introduce our flag salute student for tonight?
I would, President Martin. Thank you so much. So I'd like to invite up Stephanie Lopez Jacinto. Please come on up. So before you lead us, I get to embarrass you just a little bit, okay? Your principal caused me to do this, so remember that. All right? All right, so Stephanie is a leader on campus, and she recently competed in the Battle of Books, where an advisor said she was a natural leader. In addition to being part of Battle of the Books, Stephanie was a student ambassador and a presenter on our garden tours. She showcased all of our school gardens to members of the community. We're so proud to have Stephanie and all of her accomplishments at Oceano. Welcome, Stephanie, and thank you for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
Ready? Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Well done.
This to special students, and I know Mr. Herrera will agree with me that you're a special. Why don't you turn around? This is a special pin saying that you're a star. You're the only one from Oceano Elementary who has one. Congratulations and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to communications. The first part is our meeting where we have our high school students here tonight, student representative to the board. Why don't we start out with Nora Reed from Nipomo High?
All right. Good evening. Like they said, my name is Nora Reed. It's really cool to see so many people here as an AP Gov student. So good evening. I'm excited to share with you all the exciting things going on at Nipomo High. We've had a busy month, especially with our new CASP schedule. Every Tuesday and Thursday for the past few weeks, we've had an hour and a half in the morning with lessons and activities for our 9th, 10th, and 12th graders, with testing, unfortunately, for the 11th graders. First thing in the morning, our Titan Excellence Coalition has done a 15-minute lesson, and after that, our students have migrated to a variety of activities, including improv shows, many career presentations, and just this morning, our unified basketball game against Arroyo Grande High School. This was all very fun for our attendees, and we believe that it's been a very productive and engaging way to conduct the lesson optimal testing time that we've struggled with in the past. While our juniors were testing, our seniors have had a busy month as well. College acceptances have came in at the end of March, and many of our students are making big decisions about their future. Linker has been hard at work making social media posts for all of them, while ASB is making an individual poster for each senior for our senior send-off rally. Along with college, the seniors are anticipating graduation, picking up their caps and gowns last week. Many scholarship winners have also been announced, with more coming soon, hopefully, and many interviews amongst campus. We also participated in the Bite of Reality program, where students got to experience finances firsthand in real-life situations in our gym. Thanks to Miss Morgan for putting that on. Our leadership classes have also been hard at work this past month, hosting a salad bar for the staff. And 8 of our ASB students attended CASTLE, which is the California Association of Student Leaders Conference in San Jose, I believe, this past weekend. There, they accepted the Outstanding Leadership Program Award, which AG was also, they're not here, but AG also got that award as well, which we're very excited about. Our Ag Leadership Program, as well as ASB and Linker, have announced their classes for next year, and our officer elections for those classes are in full swing, which is fun to watch. Speaking of ag, I am proud to report that our FFA Farm Power team placed first in the state, with Jay Camacho being the first high individual. We've had a great month over at Nipomo, and we are ready to end the year strong after spring break. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ryder Gonzalez from Lopez High School and Alternative Ed. Come on up.
Good evening, board and attendees. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you news and events from Lopez and Pacific View. Projects. Consumer math students at Lopez have begun their stock market project, which will continue until the end of the year. They are learning about stock market sectors, understanding financial news, investment portfolios, stock market terminology, how mutual funds are connected to the stock market, IRAs, and wealth building strategies. This project is a competition, and prizes will be awarded for the top investors in the school. In cosmetology, our students just learned the difficult skill of cutting curtain bangs. National Poetry Month at the Lopez Library has been hit with blackout poetry, where students tear out a page from a discarded book, black out words on a given page, and create poetry with the remaining words. Students have also submitted song lyrics as poetry, and many have been displayed in the library. Support. Additional students have joined Lopez SEL groups during the last term of the year. The groups are at maximum capacity. The focus of this term, emotion regulation, boundary setting, and team building activities for the purpose of peer connection. Field trips. Our students were so excited to head up to San Simeon and visit Hearst Castle, where they were able to participate in a thorough and engaging tour. On their way back to the school, they visited the elephant seals. Community connections. We continue to host the South County Library's mobile library. Our students and staff enjoy having the convenience of getting new reading materials monthly. Lopez welcomed Freedom Calling to give a tough but important presentation on preventing human trafficking in our science class. The students learned about social media and online safety, among other ways to protect themselves and others. Flo County Office of Education coordinated with Lopez to give a presentation on the effects of vaping on teenagers' developing brains. Spirit. Lopez will host a spring-themed community day this Thursday from 12 to 12:30 p.m. Some of the activities include a plastic egg relay, flower crowns, flag football, cornhole, and a photo booth. That's it for Lopez and Pacific View. Thank you again for your support.
Thank you, Ryder. Banyan, where are you from APHS? Who's here? Anyone here from Rio Grande? No. Okay. Well, then we're going to have to bring up the caboose with Elizabeth from Central Coast New Tech High School.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited to be back this month and give you updates on our school's activities from the past month and insight into all the events we have planned. I'd also like to apologize in advance as I'm not feeling very well today, so my voice may not be as clear as usual. So now starting off with our school culture, our annual Spring Feast and Spring Spirit Week which was an Olympic theme, went really well last month. Our advisories competed against each other to earn the most points throughout the week, and the winning advisory got to eat first during the feast. Additionally, ASB is recognizing students and just hosted an academic honors breakfast yesterday morning to our students who earned a 3.8 or higher GPA last quarter. Our ASB elections will be held May 5th, and our next ASB president-elect will be introduced next month. Our next large event will be prom on May 24th at the Cypress Ridge Pavilion, and we will be announcing the theme on Friday. After prom, we'll be holding our senior events, which include Senior Week, Grad Night, and Senior Sunset. We are also working on other activities for our whole school to participate in, including LTAs throughout Teacher Appreciation Week. Moving into community, Link Crew is currently visiting schools in Santa Maria and Guadalupe. Our recruitment season is going very well, and our application is still open. They will be hosting our annual Welcome to the Pack Day on May 5th. At this event, our incoming freshmen will have the chance to visit our campus and connect with our leadership students. They will also be hosting a field day on May 1st for Ocean View students. ASB just hosted a leadership summit for 25 6th and 8th grade leadership students from Santa Maria Bonita. Students had a fun-filled day learning about how to lead and participate in team builder activities. For academics, our 9th graders and 10th graders are completing one of the largest projects they will do in their 4 years, called Night at the New Tech Museum this Thursday. The 9th graders learn about World War I, and the 10th graders study the decades of the 20th century. Groups of students are finishing creating interactive exhibits to teach the public about these events. We are all super excited to see their final products, and we hope you'll be able to attend this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. This month, our juniors just finished their state testing and their What's Next project in physics. Throughout this project, they focused on new energy sources that could replace Diablo Canyon Power Plant if it were to shut down. Lastly, our seniors are working on filling out their scholarship applications and committing to colleges nationwide. Seniors in advanced physics also just finished building marble roller coasters to study centripetal acceleration and learn how to create professional engineering drawings. They're also preparing for their senior defenses, which will be on May 12th. Now, on to theater and clubs. For theater, many of our students are now rehearsing for the play Marion. Alongside this, they've had many cool opportunities to learn stage combat. For clubs, our garden club is currently working on a plant sale, which will begin just after spring break. They are all really excited to be selling new plants, such as cucumbers, bell peppers, basil, and tomatoes. They are also working with our student business, Starlights, to start a partnership with each other. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to presenting next month.
Thank you so much. All right, this is the time for items of interest from the board. Would anyone like to share anything?
I would,
Candell?
yes, thank you. I attended the CTE event last week, and it was really wonderful, and I want to commend all of the staff and Miss Anderson and the students who put on a really terrific event. I also wanted to just mention that President Martin will address in a few minutes when we take public comment. That the board by law is not allowed to debate issues that are not on the agenda, and so we will not respond. And sometimes that's really hard. I just want to acknowledge that, especially if there's something that feels like it's maybe not exactly right or disparages someone, and I just don't want anyone to misinterpret our silence as not caring about these issues. And I just wanted to mention that. And on the topic of silence, I will, one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain is, it's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. And that's something I like to live by. Thank you.
Anyone else like to share from the board? Ms. Santos?
You must have had my mother read your quote. I want to piggyback too on the CTE. When we had other districts coming to our district here, and we got to show off what our district has, it just makes your veins pop out, and you're so excited because in walking around and listening to other districts comment on what we have here, it's beyond belief. We're so proud of all the different classes and stuff. Our culinary school is amazing. If you haven't had a chance, or seeing these kids do their products and show off what they can do, uh, come to an open house sometime. It's just amazing. Also, our our beauty school, another thing. And then, of course, I love that, being a hairdresser for years. Uh, they couldn't believe, and some are looking to us now and what they would like to take back to their district and see what they can do. And I just want to give a big shout out to our staff and all of us board members that have allowed this and the hard work that Mrs. Anderson has done, and everything from facilities people to the grounds people. It takes a team, and they have done a fabulous job. Even when you're out in the district, just roaming around buying groceries, people will stop you and say, I got to see this, and we're amazed. They're so proud. Our sports teams that do things, amazing. Individuals that do things, it's amazing. So thank you. And Donna, I want to commend you for, we do have to be silent on certain things.
All right. Anyone else? Mr. Swift.
Great. Thank you, President Martin. I too attended the Career Tech Education Showcase. It was wonderful to just really see the crafts of the students to showcase and to start awarding scholarship, because it's scholarship season. So to sort of help them continue on their journey. We know that not every student has to go to college. It's nice that we're having these career pathways to give our students options to sort of be able to remain in the community and have an affordable wage. It was also nice to sort of celebrate community member Dick Melsheimer there for all he's done in that partnership. And I'd love to reinforce that. I also attended the AG High School Boosters Dinner, which was great, and sort of with my colleagues there. It's also an act of service for us because we actually serve the food to the attendees. So it's another way that we get to give back. And thank you, President Martin, for letting me speak in front of the leadership South County. Team number 6, so this is the 6th year that this leadership program has been in place. It's like 40 under 40, but it was great. I got to get to the theme of that day was arts and education, and so I got to follow Dr. Bresch, who was talking at the county level, and I got to share all the wonderful things that we're doing at Lucia Mar. And one of the sort of best feedback I think that I got is I didn't know we were doing all that. So just from that education point of view, and sort of the attendees were really, really excited, and we had some Lucia Mar parents who were on this part of this leadership team. So thank you for that opportunity. Yeah, great. That's it.
Anyone else from the board?
Yeah,
Mr.
I would just piggyback on this CTE. For those who don't understand it, our career technical education, there was like an awards night I went to too, but it's kind of amazing to me. I'm all about college and going to college, but for those who don't, maybe can't afford it, whatever, we have some incredible opportunities. There's a new aviation program. We got an incredible welding program. You hear about the culinary, cosmetology. There's all kinds of ag programs. I mean, you could literally come in here and go out with hardly any additional education or certifications. You could go out and start a career, which I like to see that, in this day and age. I think a lot of kids need that opportunity, and I think some of those areas are going to be needed more than ever. So it's really cool. If you have kids coming up, make sure they look into it. We have some real incredible stuff there. That's it.
Ms. Amy Binion.
Thank you, President Martin. Thank you so much for being here today. I'd like to acknowledge all of you. We need to do this every time. To piggyback on everyone here, in regards to special education, as some may not know, my son passed away from cancer not too long ago, and but one of the things that he would say is, "Mom, fight, fight, fight. Mom, meeting." I said, "I don't have a meeting, Kate. Mom needs to rest." And so in that regard, I think to honor our special education, the LEAP program. The LEAP program, LEAP, is for special education students. Please look that up, and maybe in the transitional packet that you advocate for or you have. I think it's really important to have those the same opportunities as our general ed for special education. Thank you.
Anyone else from the board? Well, I just wanted to let everyone know I did receive our letter from County Office of Education about the public disclosure for the collective bargaining agreement we have with CSEA. It's on their packet tonight. So it's always good. They go over our numbers and crunch them and let us know we're all good. I had a very busy week at Lucia Mar last week, a day in negotiations, a day in training, learning all sorts of human resources, new things coming down the pipe with HR, and then spending some time with the district working on all sorts of good things. So um, that's it. So I'm going to move into superintendent's report. Dr. Fawcett, it's your turn.
All right. Thank you, President Martin. It's finally my turn. So next week is spring break, and there's a very important day that falls during spring break, and we're going to make sure we celebrate it, and that's Admin Professionals Day. And so I just want to take a moment and recognize Raquel Lujano, who's right here. She's amazing, an admin professional for us. None of us would even know how to make it to the boardroom if it wasn't for her. So we're lucky to have her. And we also have many other admin professionals that are phenomenal at our school sites that I just want to recognize and make sure that they feel appreciated. And we're going to do something special for them before the end of the week, I promise you. With that, I also want to comment on a CTE event that we had. And it's not the CTE dinner that we all attended, but we actually had a CTE showcase for the entire state of California. School districts from around California were able to come to Lucia Mar to learn about the programs that we're offering, and they got to tour Rio Grande High School and see our state-of-the-art culinary facility that we planned both with architects and industry professionals. They got to visit our patient care facility that's designed for athletic trainers and designed for EMT courses. And they also got to see, I think Christy Hall's out there, and Fran Artizone. They ran a workshop for half of the day for the visitors that showcased all the work that we're doing elementary through middle school to engage our students in STEAM. And so science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And on top of that, just last week, they had another day where they invited all the elementary schools onto the AGHS campus to go through a STEAM workshop. So we're doing a lot of very exciting things and very hands-on practical learning for our students to make sure that they are equipped to take off and take flight from Lucia Mar when they're ready. And with that, I want to invite up Sharon Darton, who's the president of the Assistance League of San Luis Obispo County, to share some information with you. Let's give her a big warm welcome.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Fawcett. Good evening, honored school board members. As president of the Assistance League of San Luis Obispo County, I'm proud to be here tonight to share with you our primary philanthropic program, Operation School Bell, through which we provide new school-appropriate clothing to kindergarten through 12th grade students in need in every school in our county, in all 10 school districts. This year, Operation School Bell provided services for 2,121 students. In the Lucia Mar School District, we served 716 students. Each K through 5th grade student received $175 worth of new clothing and shoes. Each 6th through 12th grade student received $200 worth of clothing and shoes. The cost of clothing these students was $125,300, by far the most students clothed and the largest dollars we spent on any school district in the county. Statistics prove that when students go to school dressed appropriately, it positively affects their attendance, which leads to academic and social success. And as a retired school teacher, I can attest to that. Through Operation School Bell, in addition to new clothing, each child receives a new quality book of their choosing, a tote with school supplies, and a dental kit with toothbrush and toothpaste. The cost of providing all of the clothing and supplies to the 716 students in Lucia Mar was $134,465. The process of assigning students for services through Operation School Bell is objective. We allocate an allotment of referrals to each school based on our budget and on the prorated data from the State of California website, reporting the numbers of students eligible for free and reduced lunch at every school. The individual students are then referred by their school staffs, who best know which students are most in need at that time. We could not do this without the dedication and cooperation of your school secretaries and counselors at the middle and high school. Each school is assigned particular dates and times for their students. All students in the South County are met by our volunteers at Old Navy and San Luis Obispo. If students are unable to arrive at the appointed time, we work with the school staff to reschedule them. Throughout the year, we also shop with individual students who are referred on an emergency basis. As district administrations and boards of trustees change, we believe it is our responsibility to continue each year to inform you of our efforts in your district. So thank you for allowing me to speak with you this evening. And I have a letter for Dr. Fawcett which details the numbers of students served in every school in your district. Thank you.
There are seats up in front. Come and fill in. All right, that concludes our communication portion of our meeting tonight. Before we move to our business, I'd like to share with you my introductory comments. First off, there's yellow and blue cards in the back if you'd like to speak on any item or for the public comment on items not on the agenda. They're in the back foyer. Elsa.
She's here.
¿Dónde está? Okay, sí. All right. Elsa Hernandez is our interpreter. If you need help with Spanish to English, she'd be more than happy to help. And if you need English to Spanish, she'll do that too. And then you'll notice we have 2 security guards out in front. We thank them very much for being here tonight with us and every night. So some words about public comment. Public comments are an opportunity for members of the community to address the Board of Trustees in the meeting of the school board that is open to the public. Members of the public are encouraged to address the board concerning any item on the agenda or any item of interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 20 minutes for one subject matter under the discretion of the presiding officer. The board will not take any action or have discussion on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except as authorized by law. This is why the board does not respond during the public comment section of our agenda. It is important to recognize that opinions and comments shared here are those of the individual speakers and may not represent the views of our district, the board, or our staff. LuciaMar is committed to fostering an inclusive, welcoming, and safe environment at our meetings and our schools. We respect everyone's right to express their ideas and opinions. All remarks must be free from personal attacks, particularly those based on legally protected categories, such as race, religion, disability, and sexual orientation. Our district is dedicated to serving and nurturing all our students, guiding them to become responsible, ethical, and productive members of society. To honor this mission, please make sure your comments avoid profanity, demonstrate tolerance towards differing viewpoints, and exhibit exemplary conduct. Our students are watching and learning from us at all times, and they're here tonight. Please be aware that any disturbance or intentional interruption of the meeting is not permissible. Excessive disruption by any individual or group will result in the board president revoking the individual or group's privilege to address the board. Disruptive participants may be warned and, if necessary, removed from the meeting. We value your participation in the public meeting of the Board of Education. And thank you for your cooperation in maintaining the efficiency, effectiveness, and civility of LuCMR. All right. So the way this works is we take public comment on every item as we journey through our agenda. And I will ask for you for public comment, and then I will close the public comment. When I close it, that means no one from the audience gets to now say that I want to talk, okay? At the end of our meeting, you'll notice after item number 34, we have public comment on items not on the agenda. When we reach that point, I'll remind you of some of our guidelines regarding public comment at that point. Okay, so we always start off our meeting with this great runway. We get to do a lot of things really quickly, and it's our consent calendar action items. These are items that are very routine in nature. We see them annually or quarterly or monthly, so it's something we do regularly, and we take them as one vote. And tonight, towards the end of the school year, we get more and more things piling up. So tonight, our consent calendar actually has items 1 through 23. Is there anyone from the school board who would like to pull any of these items? Ms. Vanier.
In regards to consent calendar number 5,
You want to have
yes,
a separate...
more clarification as to the waiver.
So number 5, was there anything else?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and I would like to pull item number 17 for a separate vote. All right, so let's deal with all those first. Items number 1 through 23, except for 5 and 17. I'm looking for a motion.
Move approval of items 1 through 23 with the exception of item 5 and item 17.
Okay,
Second.
I need to take some public comment.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. So Heather Wallace, you said you would like to speak on item number 6. So please come forward. You have 3 minutes.
Right, my name is Heather Wallace. I'm a parent of an AG high school student. I want to touch on some concerns I have with the way that sex ed is administered by CAPSLO from my experience. First, I was only given 2 weeks notice that the sex ed unit being taught by CAPSLO. California Ed Code states that the school shall notify parents at the beginning of the school year and inform them of their right to review all materials. I did request to review the materials and was given a meeting with the health teacher who allowed me 1 hour, which was not enough time to view the whole curriculum. In fact, I only was able to view 1 of the 10 units, not near enough time. Upon pushing to view more, the principal finally offered for me to sit in his office during school hours to review it. This offer was not made until 2 days after the unit had already began. Second, I was told that we could not opt out of single units, but would have to opt out of the entire curriculum. California Ed Code states that a parent has the right to opt out of all or part of sex ed. Third, I requested that my son be able to do the unit as independent study. I wanted to supervise it, which would allow me to work through any sensitive subjects, talk about our own personal beliefs, but I was told that this was not possible because CAPSLO owns the copyrights to the materials and does not allow them to be sent home. If this is true, an alternative sex ed option that can be done independently should be offered. Finally, when I did meet with the teacher, I was informed that at the end of every unit, CAPSLO promotes their teen-only clinic. This clinic is somewhere teens can go and not encounter a single adult. Teen wellness providers is what they're called. They run the teen-only clinics, managing the front desk. These are teens, performing lab procedures, providing medical history reviews, risk assessment, counseling, referrals, and health education. This was very concerning to me, as I do not feel that it's appropriate for my teen to be offered medical advice or lab procedures from other teens. I do not feel it is responsible for the school to allow CAPSLO to advertise this service. Article 4 of the California Healthy Youth Act states, "It is the intent of the legislator to encourage pupils to communicate with their parents about human sexuality and to respect the rights of parents to supervise their children's education on these subjects. The legislator intends to create streamlined processes to make it easier for parents to review materials related to sex ed, and if they wish, to excuse their children from participation in all or part of that instruction. The legislator recognizes that parents have the ultimate responsibility for imparting values regarding human sexuality to their children. My experience was that Lucia Marr did not respect my rights as a parent to supervise my child's education on these subjects. So before you vote, I ask, have the policies at AGHS been adjusted to adhere to the California Ed Code? And are you working to make it easier on parents to review the curriculum? Taking time off work to review a 10-unit curriculum that would likely take 10 hours to review, from my experience, creates a hardship to do between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. I also hope each of you have reviewed the materials that are being presented to these 14 and 15-year-old children and consider that some of it goes against the right for parents to be involved in their children's health education. I provided a printout of the Ed Code sections I'm referring to for each board member and the superintendent. Thank you.
Okay. Would anyone else in the audience like to provide public comment on items 1 through 4, 6 through 16, or 18 through 23? Seeing no movement in the audience, I'm going to close it to public comment and bring it back to the board. I know I had a motion that was out of place, and it was
But it's still there. It's still on the
Stuart
table.
Santos.
It's Santos Stewart.
Santos Stewart.
Or if we could start over since we're out of order, I would like, just like item 17, if we could pull item 6 that was commented on for a separate vote.
We already have a motion on the tape
Motion in a second.
and a second, so if it fails, you can make that motion.
Okay, even though
Okay.
it was out of order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve items number 1 through 4, 6 through 16, and 18 through 23. Roll call vote, please.
Santos? Yes. Stewart?
Aye.
Kendall?
Yes.
Tom?
No.
Naomi Bernier?
No.
Fuller?
No.
Martin?
Yes. Motion passes 4-3.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go to item number 5, approval physical education waivers. Ms. Renier, you had some questions on
Yes, in regards to your physical education, our physical education waiver, a little bit more clarification, if I can, in regards to special ed and how that reflects.
Each of the, yes, thank you, President Martin. Each of the students that are not identified by name to protect their privacy has an individual reason for their exemption. As you can see, there are only 6 students who are being requested for exemption this evening. Some of them are temporary, which are students who are usually, in this case, ill and not able to complete PE in the year that they are assigned. So in a temporary exemption, they would take PE the following year. Some of the students are permanent, meaning that they have some sort of illness or physical condition that does not allow them to successfully complete physical education. And so in that case, the board has asked for only these 6 students to exempt them. All other students, regardless of IEP status or general education status, complete PE in our graduation requirements.
Thank you for clarifying.
Does anyone else have questions for Ms. Dixon? Open it up to public comment. Is there public comment on item number 5, physical education waivers? Seeing no public comment, I'm going to close the public comment, bring it back to the board for comment. Anyone have comments on this item? Then I'm looking for a motion.
I make a motion to pass item number 5, approval physical education waiver.
Again.
It's been moved by trustee Naomi Bernier, second by trustee Fuller, to approve item number 5. Roll call vote, please.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Kendall?
Yes.
Santos? Yes. Tom?
Yes. Yes, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 17, approval, rejection of claim for damages to person or property, 6-2 file number 20250545440. I asked this to be pulled because I need to abstain on this item, so I wanted a separate vote. Any questions on this item for anyone? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Would anyone in the public like to comment on item number 17? Seeing no movement, I'm going to close it to public comment, bring it back to the board for comments. Any comments by the board? No? Roll call vote, please.
Motion.
Oh, on motion, excuse me.
I move approval of item number 17, rejection of claim for damages to person or property, SISC 2, file number 202-505-4540.
Second.
Was that Pam? Oh, Santos. All right. It's been moved by Stewart, second by Santos to approve item number 17. Roll call vote, please.
Stewart.
Aye.
Santos.
Yes.
Fawn.
Yes.
Naomi Bernier.
Yes.
Fuller.
Yes.
Kendall.
Yes.
Martin.
Abstain.
Oh,
So the motion passes 6-0-1. Okay. Moving on, this is the exciting part of our night. It's item number 24 under reports and presentations, resolutions, and proclamations. We have a school site presentation from Oceano Elementary School. Dr. Fawcett.
All right, thank you, President Martin. It's my pleasure to invite up Principal Joshua Herrera to present on all the great things Oceano Elementary School is accomplishing. And this year their theme is Scholars on Safari, and I can't wait to see their PowerPoint. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I have my cheering squad here in the back. Thank you. Esteemed board, Dr. Fawcett, Assistant Superintendent, thank you so much for having us here tonight. I'm going to start my timer. I promise to stay under 10 minutes and be as fast as possible. First, I want to start with our mission, of course, why we're here and why Oceano exists. We are here to make sure our school is a diverse community where we are self-directed learners. We think critically, we communicate effectively, we work collaboratively to meet and exceed high expectations for learning. Every Friday, we have a principal Google Meet, Google Meet actually, and we review our mission with our students every Friday to remind them of why we're here and what we expect of them. I want to begin this afternoon or this evening with our Safari Guide. So my Safari Guide, if you can stand up for me. I know I embarrassed you guys. You know, these are the teachers and staff, this part of the teachers and staff of Oceano Elementary School, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here tonight. I know it's late, but I promised them pizza, so that's why they're here. They're not here for free; they're here for the pizza. There's a quote that, from Walt Disney that says, "It takes people to make the dream a reality." And tonight I'm going to focus more on data and our school success academically. But really, I really want to thank these people for all of their hard work this year, because without them, the reality would not come true. So thank you all very, very much. So our adventure began. What day was that, Ms. Geiger? What day? August 15th, thank you. August 15th, our safari adventure began at Oceano Elementary School. You see Mr. Eichberger up there on the top left. There you go. It was a fun day where our students are welcomed onto campus, our parents are welcomed onto campus, and this was a kickoff of our year. You see here in this picture our runway where students were able to come and greet the teachers. The teachers and staff were all out in the morning, the first day of school, to welcome them. You see professional learning happening before the big school year began with our awesome toasters right there on the bottom left. And so August 15th is when all this adventure began. I want to focus on our academic data and our growth this year. If you look here, 32% of our students met or exceeded in mathematics last year at the end of the year SBAC CASP test. 38%, you look at the district average, was 35% of our students meeting or exceeding in mathematics last year. Oceano is on your coattails, other schools. We're around the corner, we're there. So I'm just proud of our school for all of their hard work and their growth. In language arts as well, 36% of our students met or exceeded last year. And that's all due to our PLC process and to the work that our curriculum department, Dr. Dixon, thank you so much, Mrs. Dixon and Dr. Fawcett for leading us in our academic growth. We have two amazing TOSAs, one of them here tonight, Miss McLean. My right hand over there, she keeps me focused, and we are making sure our students are learning and are growing. When it comes to distance from standard, that's the level of where our students need to be when it comes to the end of the year SBAC test. You see here, Oceano Elementary School had the highest growth or change from any other school in the district last year, 17 points in math and 25 points in language arts. So a lot of headway. we're not where we want to be yet when it comes to high achieving. We're working on that, but so much growth, and we're looking forward to our results this year at the end of the school year. All grade levels last year, again for this year, improved in ELA and math. You see 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, every single grade level had growth. Every single grade level improved. So we're so proud of our grade levels. Special ed department, we have our special ed team here. They are an amazing bunch, and they work so hard, tirelessly with students in our special ed department. We had so much growth last year, not only academically, behaviorally, the supports that we get from the district, from Mr. Heaver and Mrs. Geiger. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. We have made so much improvements with our special ed department. The programs that we have going, our inclusion programs that we have going in TK and kindergarten, thanks to our Mrs. Baumgartner and Mrs. Zambo. So much growth with our special ed. Also with our newcomers and our English language learners. Mrs. Limpick here tonight. Yes, Mrs. Limpick, yes, thank you. 50 students made growth last year on our ELPI. The English Learner Performance Indicator is what the state is looking at to monitor growth. So 50 students made growth. We have a picture here of 15, my lucky number tonight, 15 for the first day of school. 15 students made redesignation, reclassified this year. And this is a picture of our students. And then Mrs. Hall is our what is your job, Mrs. Hall? Yeah, ELD coordinator, there you go. And so this is a picture of our newcomers. Our newcomers have been graduating out very quickly this year, going into our general education classrooms, being exposed to the curriculum and to the content, and they have been growing academically as well. We have the end of the year test, CAPS test coming up. I know the high schoolers, they did so well. Those young people did very well presenting to you all. We are on track to make sure our students are growing. It's not just a hope. We know exactly how we're going to do and how we're growing. This is a screenshot of our iReady diagnostic that we're tracking. We have a goal that 80% of our students will make their annual typical growth. This is the beginning of the school year. You see a lot of red, you see a lot of yellow, and you see hardly any green. These are individual students from the beginning of the school year. We love the new curriculum, Mrs. Dixon, and the teachers have been implementing with fidelity, and so we appreciate that support with the curriculum. Trimester 1, you see the growth happening, you see more green happening, you see less red happening. Here's where we are now, Trimester 2, with the iReady diagnostic. You show me that money, show me the green is what I wanted to say. Show me, that was my plan to say. Show me the money. Anyway, there's the green with our students growing. Each of those dots represents a label for the students, to making sure our students, our special ed department are growing, our English language learners are growing, our foster youth, our homeless youth, they're all growing and making progress. And this is a picture of a kindergarten classroom. Yeah, that's Veronica. Yeah, that's the kindergarten classroom right there. And this is an award they get for their annual typical growth, and for iReady. Our reading intervention teachers have been working hard as well. You can ask Mrs. Hall, Mrs. Dunlap, how are our kids doing? And they can tell you down to the phoneme how far our kids are from growing. And so Mrs. Hall is here again tonight. Our students are making lots of progress. We're using Smarter Intervention as the resource for our small group instruction. We meet every month, which is new this year, to track our student growth, to make sure they're learning, to make sure they're growing. We're meeting with our special ed, our psychologists, to make sure that there's anybody that we need to put up to a student study team, an SS team, to make sure that there's nobody left behind. So there were a lot of safari stops this year on our journey. Again, every year we have a theme, and so this year was all about the Scholars on Safari. We had such a fun event of parents for awards. I'm sure I left something out in these pictures, so teachers and staff, please forgive me if your program is not here. But there's so much on top of all this. I just thought, dude, be nice, not on here. You checked it for me, and there's no dude, be nice on here. I wanted to start with Hispanic Heritage Month and our newcomer students. They have a special place in my heart, and they're going through a lot right now. So, Mrs. Limpick, thank you for offering such a wonderful program. We have an amazing bike posse and a bike program with Mr. DeCecco. Grandparents' Day, we do a veteran bike ride. We have an awesome TK and K inclusion. We have an amazing band program happening. We did Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. You see that there in the center is Dr. Fossa, who joined us on the walk. He was all sweaty after the end of the walk. But it was a wonderful day to honor Ruby Bridges. We have tons of field trips that happened this year, special field trips, winter performances. We have Leadership Club. Lunch with the Principal is another activity we do for our theme for the year, where students who earned Student of the Month will get to have lunch with me on the stage and have some pizza. We did an Olaf Snowball Challenge. That's our third grade teachers battling each other right there on the front left-hand side. They're not here today, but that was a fun day. We recently just received Alexia Usage Award and Growth that's at our school. So that's a picture of Mrs. Garcia there on the bottom left. Again, Mrs. Hall did a STEAM night and piloted it at Oceano a month ago. We had an amazing robotics club this year who earned first place along with, what other school? I forgot. Another school. We have free book fairs. We had a safari day. Cal Poly was on campus. Read Across America, and just recently, in the last month or so, the last week actually, we just finished the Battle of the Books hosting at our site, and we had a bike rodeo where over 200 people came out to get their bike fixed, to have face painting, free hot dogs, and that's Stephanie there on the bottom left at our school gardening presentation as an ambassador, where Mr. Sensen was there as well for that one. So thank you, Mr. Sensen. Again, thank you, board and Superintendent Fawcett and Assistant Superintendents and staff for making sure we had a wonderful year this year. So if you have any questions for me, but Oceano's had a great year. We look forward to year 3 for me next year anyway.
All right. Principal Herrera, please stay up here. Does the board have any questions for Principal Herrera?
I do. Where's the invite?
Where's the what?
The invitation. I want to, from the bottom of my heart, I want to express how much change you have made. You have illuminated. You le has puesto mucha luz. You've put a lot of light, a lot of color into Oceano, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. As to academic success, you've exceeded what we've been tackling. I think it's great. PLC growth. I can't say enough. There are no words.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have questions for Principal Herrera? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up. Hang on with us. I'm going to open it up to public comment. Does anyone have public comment on this presentation? Not a question, public comment.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. If you'd like to make public comment, you need to please come up to the microphone. No, I have a staff member, I think.
Hi, I am one of the supporters and employees underneath Mr. Herrera. I'm a paraprofessional, and I just need to say that each week he puts out a shout out to employees. And I think that it is only appropriate that we make a shout out to him because he is what keeps us coagulated and keeps us excited to come back and see what the next adventure is, and to be ready to be there for the kids. So if all of you would please give this man a round of applause.
Is there any other public comment from the audience? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment, bring it back to the board for comments. Would anyone on the board like to make comment on Mr. Herrera's presentation?
I would just like to say, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I would just like to say, when he first interviewed for this job, and when he got the job and said he was from the Valley, I thought, yay, another Valley boy does good. He came to the coast. I really appreciate what you've done with that school. It's amazing. And I think seeing what your students have done is a big crown on your
Mr. Stewart.
Yeah, just thank you and congratulations to you and your team for the clear growth, the whole child approach you have to education, and really epitomizing what it means to be a school of the community. So well done.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just wanted to say it's obvious you motivate your staff. The amount of parent engagement you brought onto your campus, we all know that educating students is not just the school's job, it's a family job, and bringing the parents in, and you've invited those families onto your campus repeatedly, regularly, and all the time. And that is how we're going to make a community for them. So thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you. All right. One more hand. Okay, staff promotion. I don't want you to leave because the next item is item number 25, approval, adoption of proclamation A 242512, recognizing National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th through 9th, and the California Day of the Teacher, May 14th. Dr. Fawcett.
All right. Thank you, President Martin. So I get to read a little bit of this resolution, and it's a perfect time to do that. We have amazing employees that we just heard about. So whereas teachers work to open students' minds and the magic of ideas, knowledge, and dreams, and demonstrate their love of learning in the classroom every day. And whereas teachers fill many roles as listeners, learners, role models, motivators, and mentors. And whereas the success of students in Lucia Mar Unified School District depends on the skills, knowledge, and attitudes acquired while under the nurturing guidance of our dedicated teachers. And whereas teachers work collaboratively with the Board of Education, colleagues, parents, and others to support the commitment to quality education for all youngsters. Whereas teachers continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories. And whereas California teachers have many extraordinary skills they pull from to reach and teach all of our students. We proclaim the National Teachers Appreciation Week, May 5th through 9th, 2025, and the California Day of the Teacher on May 14th, 2025. And I full-heartedly recommend you approve this for all of our amazing teachers. Thank you.
Any questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I open it up to public comment. Any public comment on this item, Day of the Teacher? Seeing no movement, I'm going to close the audience to public comment, bring it back to the board for comments. Anyone like to make a comment? Well, I will. We wouldn't be anywhere without our teachers, right? I know all my teachers from kindergarten on. You know, I hear people complain about a teacher. I said, well, my 6th grade teacher, Miss Slater, she taught PE in stilettos and a dress every day, you know? So teachers are important to us. We think back on our lives and we think about the important adults, and they oftentimes are educators. So we honor our Lucia Mar teachers, and we just wouldn't, our community wouldn't be the same without them. Ms. Pham.
Just thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Naomi Bernier?
Thank you. This is about student success, and without you, our students would really, where would they be? Thank you.
All right, this item is asking for approval, so I'm looking for a motion in a second.
I would like to enthusiastically move approval. Adoption of Proclamation A-2425-12, recognizing National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th through 9th, 2025, and the California Day of the Teacher, May 14th, 2025.
I second.
Okay. Moved by Kendall, seconded by Naomi Bernier. Roll call vote, please.
Kendall?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Santos?
Yes.
Plum? Yes. Martin?
Yes. Motion passes, to quote Ms. Kendall enthusiastically, 7-0. Okay. Item number 26, our partner, Dr. Fawcett. Approval, I'll
Go
read it. Approval, adoption of Proclamation A 2425-13, recognizing Classified School Employee of the Week, May 18th through 24. So that parent educator, I hope she's still here so we can celebrate her.
All right. And without our classified employees, we wouldn't be able to do any of the excellent work that we get to engage in. So I get to read this resolution about our classified employees now. So whereas the Board of Education joins the government officials in acknowledging the important roles classified school employees play in Lucia Mar Unified School District, and whereas classified school employees contribute immeasurably to the health, safety, and well-being of students through their dedication and professionalism in carrying out their many and varied job responsibilities, assisting children and young people in classrooms through valuable supports and services. And whereas classified employees endeavor daily in their work to follow this year's theme of classified professionals, indispensable, inspiring, and invincible. And whereas the district's academic programs and other educational opportunities could not be provided to over 9,664 students enrolled in our schools without the unfailing support of over 560 classified employees working more than 80 job classifications in Lucia Mar Unified School District. We appreciate them so much, and I full-heartedly recommend that you approve this resolution as well. Thank you.
Does anyone from the board have questions for Dr. Fawcett on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Would anyone like to make public comment on agenda item number 26, the adoption of proclamation recognizing Classified School Employee Week? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to public comment, bring it back to the board for comments. Anyone on the board like to make a comment? Ms. Naomi Renier?
Yes, thank you, President Martin. Without you, paraprofessionals, are your supports to our teachers. We value your work. Thank you.
Any other comments from board members?
I would also like to say, as a retired teacher, that sometimes our classified employees are a little bit invisible to the public, but all of us educators know that our schools would not run without the dedication and the service of our classified employees. And so important to all of their colleagues and teachers and kids. And I want to thank you for what you do.
Anyone else? Well, I am a classified employee in a different district, and I know if we all didn't show up one day, the school would collapse. And I see some of our classified employees out here in the audience, and I thank you for what you do and commend you. I'm looking for a motion and a second on this one also.
I'd move that we move for adoption of the proclamation A2425-13, recognizing Classified School Employee Week, May 13th through 24th, 2025.
I second.
It's been moved by Trustee Fuller, second by Trustee Renier to approve agenda item 26. Roll call vote, please.
Fuller,
Yes.
Naomi Renier,
Yes.
Stewart,
Aye.
Kendall,
Yes.
Santos,
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes enthusiastically 7-0.
There was a few questions about additional speaker cards, and some of those have been placed in the back. And so we're just encouraging people, if they want to fill out the speaker cards, to fill them out, get them from the back, and pass them on up.
Great. Sure. Thank you. Okay, we are moving on. We're on item number 27, report high school mathematics course sequence. Ms. Dixon for...
I will introduce it and
Okay.
pass it on over to Mrs. McCall. Thank you, President Martin. It is our pleasure this evening to share with you updates to our high school mathematics course sequencing. As the board is well aware, we've been working hard on math at all levels. We just got to celebrate great success at Oceano Elementary, but we've also been working hard at our secondary level as well. And through the work of our secondary mathematics committee, we have recommendations moving forward for new course series coming up in the coming years. So with that, it's my pleasure to hand it off to Mrs. Ashley McCall, one of our curriculum directors, to take us through this report.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to share with you an update on our secondary math sequencing. So in doing that, I'm going to back up a little bit and go through what we have traditionally offered as our secondary math sequencing. So secondary starts at grade 6. So even though that's part of our elementary school, it's part of our secondary adoption. You know, some schools have middle schools that have 6th, 7th, and 8th. So even though we don't offer that physically, we still lump them into the secondary adoption. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see the on-grade level progression, the typical course offerings for 6th through 12th grade. So a sixth grade math, which is integrated math, 7th grade integrated math, 8th grade integrated math, and then starting in high school, we go algebra, geometry, algebra 2, and then that 12th grade year, you have a chance for higher level math. If you were to accelerate, our typical math sequencing is 6th grade integrated math in 6th grade. And then in 7th grade, it's both 7th grade and 8th grade math. It's a compacted model, 2 years over the course of 1 year. Then in 8th grade, you start algebra, followed by geometry, algebra 2, and then that provides 2 years of higher level mathematics. So we started looking at this and thinking, okay, these are good offerings and we're offering some opportunity for acceleration, but how can we provide more on-ramps for our students that want to accelerate if they maybe aren't ready at that 6th to 7th grade timeline? Because really that was the only opportunity with these traditional course models. So we got a math committee together, and our secondary math committee reviewed data. We had conversations. We had, just prior to COVID, actually engaged with the county office in a lot of research and data around math as well. And we decided that instead of just offering that compacted model of 7th and 8th grade math over 1 year, and then moving to algebra, we were going to keep that, but then also offer another opportunity for acceleration in 9th grade. So if you look at the highlighted boxes, math, after 8th grade math, so we go 6th grade, 7th grade, and then 8th grade, there's another opportunity, this was offered as a pilot, to get to the same years, 2 years of higher level math, through doing 2 years of math over 2. So still compacted, but not as compacted as 2 years over 1. So in order to make sure we were able to have students validate geometry, which is that middle piece in the traditional math framework, the accelerated framework had to be an integrated model. So in this integrated model on the accelerated path, they do integrated 1 and 2 over the first year, and then 2 and 3 over the second year. And that was the only way that we were able to offer a compacted model for our high school students to make sure we maintain A through G eligibility. So this pilot has been super successful. We started it a couple of years ago, and our students that are currently at Nipomo High School are finishing the 2-3 right now, and they will be taking CASP this year. So then we will have even further data on the success of this pilot. But notice, whether you take the on-ramp in 7th grade or you take the 9th grade on-ramp, it puts you at the same place. So that's not a double acceleration. It's either you do this or you do this, which frees up those 2 levels of higher level math for junior and seniors. So in having that successful pilot a couple of years ago, the accelerated math courses, the integrated 1, 2, and 2, 3, have now become part of our general math offerings, and they are leaving the pilot phase and becoming the next, and as of the next school year, will be offered in our general sequencing. So if you look at the 2 options on the far right and left, there are the standard traditional sequencing. So in Model A, you're going to go Math 7, Math 8, and then the on grade level progressions, algebra, geometry, algebra 2. If you choose to accelerate, it's going to be accelerated integrated math 1, 2, accelerated integrated math 2, 3, and then 2 years of higher level math. And then on the right hand side, still offering that early acceleration model for incoming 7th grade. So now we started looking at this and saying, gosh, a lot of the math that we have on here is already integrated. Math 6 is integrated by nature. Math 7 is integrated. Math 8 is integrated. When we offer another accelerated pathway, it's integrated math. So we started having and at New Tech, we offer integrated math. So our math committee in secondary started having the conversation is, does it really make sense to interrupt a lot of this integrated math and move abruptly to the traditional model for students that are on grade level in high school? That algebra, geometry, algebra 2, does that really best serve our students? So with the help of the math committee and our math TOSA, we've done some research around this and done a lot of comparing and analyzing with CASP. And what you see and at the right here is the circular notion of how we teach integrated math, like I said, is what kids experience already in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. That's just what the math is. And it spirals, and it really helps when we're looking at comparing it to the state exam, make sure that we're swooping in more of those concepts earlier to prepare students for a greater chance of success when taking the CASP in the integrated model rather than the traditional model. So We also analyzed our new California Math Framework, which was recently published, and we've done a lot of work inside analyzing the framework. The framework also has some really great research embedded in it that points to the success possibilities of an integrated model. And again, we like the fact that our additional opportunity for acceleration was already an integrated model. Teachers have gained exposure to it at our comprehensive sites, and we're starting to feel really comfortable around the idea. That being said, we were at a really pivotal turning point because we have a secondary math adoption coming up this year. So, in an effort to separate the adoption process from the decision to go integrated, our team of math teachers, department chairs, and with a lot of input from everyone, have decided that the following school year, let me explain the sequence of it. After we do the new curriculum adoption, we will be moving to an integrated math model throughout all of our schools. So that means there will be no changes in the math courses that are offered for this coming school year, 25-26, but it gives teachers the opportunity to pilot only courses in the integrated model, which means we can review what instructional materials best support our teaching strategies from that integrated model perspective and not have to wade through both traditional models and integrated models while selecting things in the pilot. Okay, so in moving forward, this is the new course sequencing. Again, no changes for next year. That will be the pilot, and then grandfathering out from there. So looking at the on grade level progression, students will receive integrated math in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and then the on grade level sequencing, integrated math in grade 9, integrated 2 in grade 10, and then integrated 3 in grade 11. And then what you can't see there is that 12th grade year for higher level math. If they accelerate in middle school, that opportunity still remains. Everything just gets bumped up with integrated math beginning in grade 8. It used to be Algebra 1. And then the high school acceleration model is exactly the same. 6th grade integrated, 7th grade integrated, 8th grade integrated, and then the accelerated integrated 1, 2, accelerated integrated 2, 3. So when these courses come and we select the instructional materials, we will grandfather out the courses. So a student won't be abruptly taken from geometry into integrated 3. We will appropriately grandfather them out. So it will take full implementation. It will take us until school year 28-29 to fully be in an integrated math model. So we are very pleased with this. It's a very exciting shift for our school and district. It'll also be great to get everyone on the same curriculum for all of our high schools, so not having both the traditional and integrated math model. And with that, I would be happy to take any questions.
Does anyone on the board have questions?
Yeah. Up to this point, what schools have you been piloting this at?
So integrated math has been at New Tech for quite some time now. I want to say roughly 6 or 7 years since the last adoption cycle. And then the piece that we've been piloting is the accelerated integrated. And that we started at Nipomo High School 2 years ago with the incoming 8th graders having the option to go into the accelerated integrated 1, 2. And then this year moving to the 2, 3. And then AG came behind them 1 year later with the same model.
Okay.
So it's been piloted both AG and Nipomo.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I think New Tech has got our highest math proficiency.
That's correct.
Scores. Okay.
Any question? Trustee Pam?
What happened to trigonometry?
Well, trigonometry, colleges still refer to our equivalent of Algebra 2 as trigonometry. So it was embedded kind of in Algebra 2, and there's some slight differences and nuances that I'm not personally able to rattle off, but they're very similar, Algebra 2 and trigonometry.
So in your slideshow where you have the pie shaped, is it my understanding when you say integrated, you are introducing all 4 of the different Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry into every single classroom, and you're building on top of that each year, so you don't forget what you learned in Algebra 1 when you're in geometry.
That's exactly correct. And right now, our math teachers will tell you there's like a really clean break between algebra and going to geometry, and then a hard shift from geometry to Algebra 2. And it's really difficult to review those concepts that directly translate from Algebra 1 when we get back to Algebra 2 with that hard break of geometry in the center. So the hope is that in moving to an integrated math model, it will be more fluid, more cyclical, and build on the previous year's learning and be a strong, smoother transition for our kids moving up.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Does anyone in the audience like to make public comment on this report only about our mathematics course sequencing? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to public comment, bring it back to the board for comments. Any comments? Well, I just,
Oh, sorry.
Ms. Matthews, please.
Yeah. As formerly a calculus teacher, I understand how all these pieces culminated. Students used to say, "Oh, now I understand why I had to learn this skill or that skill." It didn't make sense to me at the time. So I appreciate that the process involves a lot of input from teachers, because I think math is one of those things that's just really critical that we listen to the expertise. Appreciate that.
And I'd like to just, say as someone who loved algebra and almost flunked geometry, I think having little bits of geometry in many classes is probably a better thing. At least it would have been for me. So I do think that this is in response to student needs. And that's what we need to be listening to, is that some students don't know in sixth grade they want to accelerate. And then they get to high school and they're like, oh man, I'm already behind. That's not fair. We're giving them a second on ramp, as you called it, to allow them to accelerate. Not all kids are going to accelerate. We know that. And we have a plan for them too. But for those that would like to, we have another way they can do that without having to know when they were 11 that they wanted to apply to Stanford, So thank you. Okay. This is a report only. It doesn't require a vote. We're going to move on to item number 28. Thank you. Approval, adoption of Resolution A 242514 for naming district representatives and authorizing participation in state allocation board administered programs. Hello.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Eichberger.
Almost getting closer. Thank you, President Martin. In education, we love acronyms, so I'm going to have some fun with this one. For us to qualify for any programs under the SAB or the DSG, we have to provide some online applications through the OPSC. What does all that mean? It means that if we want to qualify for state match funds, then we have to have approved authors of those certification requests. Meaning this would create a list of 3 individuals for the district, Dr. Fawcett, myself, and Executive Director Stenson, an opportunity to submit our funding requests to the State Allocation Board through the Office of Public School Construction's online portal. So this is recommended that you approve Resolution A 2425-14, naming the 3 individuals I have referenced as available to enter into those agreements with the state.
Awesome. Any questions from members of the board?
Yeah, since I'm the new guy, was this any different in the past?
This is just updating myself, replacing Mr. MP. This is an online portal that we've had for a number of years, meaning all of the state match funds that we have been receiving, the applications go through this online portal.
All right. Would anyone from the audience like to provide public comment on this item? Item number 28. Approval, adoption of resolution for naming the district representatives and authorizing participation in state allocation board administered programs. That is a mouthload. Seeing none, I'm going to close it to public comment and bring it back to the board for comments. Any comments by the board? Seeing none, I would welcome a motion in a second.
I move to approve item number 25. 28. I'm wearing different glasses today. So I'm agenda item number 28, approval, adoption of resolution A 2425-14 for naming district representatives and authorizing participation in state allocation board administered programs.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Naomi Bernier, second by trustee Fuller. Roll call vote, please.
Naomi Bernier,
Yes.
Fuller,
Yes.
Stewart,
Aye.
Kendall, yes. Santos, yes. Baum, Yes. Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 29. As the meetings get longer in the school year, the agendas get longer. We're at number 29. Uh, Approval, adoption of resolution A 242515, acknowledging 6 certifications required to submit modernization funding applications to the Office of Public School Construction.
Thank you, President Martin. So back in 2012, the Office of Administrative Law did an emergency regulation that said when the state runs out of money for new construction and modernization, that they want to be able to establish a list with set criteria that allows districts to get into the queue, if you will, or that waiting line. If you picture a bunch of airplanes flying, it's getting in that when we're going to be able to land. That said, on February 18th, 2025, there was a shift, meaning they have now changed what the requirement is for that application to get in line for those state match funds. So when we think about our projects that when the state Proposition 2 runs out, which eventually it will, this will allow us to submit to these 6 certifications, allowing us to get into that line for future funding applications related to the Office of Public School Construction. When we think about our Measure I and the success that we've had in terms of applying for state match dollars, this is ensuring that we remain compliant with the updated regulations.
Great. Does anyone have questions for Mr. Eichberger on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to open. Oops, I'm sorry.
Who's getting the certification?
It's actually 6 components that we're required to acknowledge as part of the application. So in the actual resolution, it spells them out, that we do acknowledge that the remaining school facilities bonds money is going to be running out, that we acknowledge that we don't know how long it's going to take the state to be able to give us money, basically spelling out those parameters. So this is not naming which individual, but that we understand the process with which the state will use to give money in the future.
Yeah, the 6 items are in the resolution. Any other questions from the board? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to the board and open it up to public comment. Would anyone in the audience like to comment on this item, item number 29? Seeing no movement, I'm going to close the public comment, bring it back to the board for comment. Anyone on the board have any comment on this pretty procedural item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion and a second.
Move approval, adoption of resolution A-2425-15, acknowledging 6 certifications required to submit modernization funding applications to the Office of Public School Construction.
Second. It's been moved by Stewart, second by Candell. Roll call vote, please.
Stewart?
Aye.
Kendall?
Yes.
Santos?
Yes.
Baum?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Okay. Moving along, we're on to items scheduled for discussion, possible action. Item number 30, report, possible action, contract for Amira Learning, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Reading Difficulties Risk Screener 2025-26 school year. Ms. Dixon.
Thank you, President Martin. This evening, I'm pleased to present to you our suggestion and request for approval for the Amira Learning Reading Difficulty Screener. Pursuant to California Education Code 53008, all LEAs in the state need to adopt a reading difficulty screener for use in grades kindergarten through 2nd grade, starting next school year in the 25-26 school year. The purpose of the screener is to identify any early intervention needs that our students may have, and by identifying those needs, intervene early, which will hopefully ensure success later on in the year. To be clear, we have a lot of wonderful screening tools available to our students that are used in grades K through 2 and above already, but this law required the state to convene a review panel to identify a list of evidence-based screening instruments that from which each district was forced or asked to choose. So they chose 4 instruments, and information about those instruments was available in January. So we had a quick turnaround because we needed to understand what they were and select one for implementation in the fall. So luckily, the state also provided us with each district with a one-time allocation that can be used only to purchase the screener and train teachers to use the screener. So we'll be using those funds for this purchase. To make our selection here in Lucia Mar, we convened a review panel to examine each of the 4 screeners and to select the one that will work best for our district. Our review panel was comprised primarily of teachers. We also had an interested principal who participated and 2 school psychologists, all of whom were actively involved in making their decision together. They collectively analyzed the screeners and selected Amira as the best fit for us. Although it was not required, we took the extra step to pilot Amira in a few classrooms with K1 and 2 students to make sure that we understood how to use it and that it would work for our students. And we think that it will be very user-friendly, and we are looking forward to attempting it next year. So our plan, pending approval, will be to make the purchase on July 1st because our spending deadline closed today. And then we will be training our staff to use it, and we'll be employing it early in the fall. It's also notable that any student who joins our district sometime after our initial screening window closes will also be screened with this instrument to ensure that every student in K through 2 has access to this, and we get that information, sort of similar to what we do with initial LPAC for any English learner that joins our school sometime during the year after that window closes. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions and recommend approval of the Amira screening instrument.
Does anyone on the board have any questions? Mr. Fuller.
I'm not certain I understand. Is this a fully funded mandate? Or,
It is for this coming school year, yes, Mr. Fuller.
but subsequent years we still have to do it and it's not funded?
Correct. We have some questions, and the state is we're looking for clarification. Every local educational agency is on if these 4 screeners will remain the only screeners or if they will open up for other companies to potentially receive approval because we are in contract with some other screeners that we have already selected that we think are excellent and giving us good data, and we may be able to weave this requirement into those. But for now, districts must choose between one of the 4, and the state has given us money for 1 year of implementation at this point. We shall see what happens in the coming years.
Right. I know when I was growing up, probably most people in here, I always thought the teacher was the best suited to figure out if the student could read or not and what their needs were. But I guess the state wants us to do it, go outside the teachers and spend some more money.
I would say that the teachers, I would absolutely agree with you, Mr. Fuller, but also teachers need great tools in order to really analyze what the specific reading difficulty is. The main reason that this law was passed was because people across the state were interested in seeing early signs of dyslexia. And to diagnose dyslexia specifically, that requires some specific tools to do that. There's a lot of wonderful treatments that our K through 2 teachers know how to intervene and help students read. We've been deeply investing in the science of reading as a reading approach, which really implements, as Mr. Herrera pointed out earlier, down to the phoneme or the morpheme, exactly what students need to know in order to read. So using that professional development and the great skills of our teachers and the data that will come out of this screener as well as other tools, I think we'll see some great results.
Ms. Amy Bernier.
Thank you. What type of modifications for late start students? What can you give us some examples as to for our students to catch up?
What types of interventions? Is that what you're asking?
No, you briefly mentioned that for those that start after it's already been implemented, so maybe.
Yes, so this tool is just a screener that's going to be a one point in time check-in for students. We'll be doing it within the first 2 months of school. And so for any student who enrolls in our district, it does not come with data from one of these screeners for wherever they might have come from, out of state, somewhere else. We will be giving them this screener as well within the first 30 days of being enrolled in our district and then use that data to assess if they are on track for their typical grade level peers or if they need some extra intervention. At that point, depending on what that shows us, as well as our other testing tools and teacher observation, we will be able to design an intervention program for them if necessary. Most students, it's unlikely that they'll need it, but some students might. So that'll be within the first 30 days of their enrollment if they come in after our initial window.
Great to know. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Anyone in the audience like to comment on this item number 30?
Hi, I wanted to know how much is the contract for that?
In our agenda.
Public comment, not public
It's
question.
public comment, not public question. You're right.
If you actually look over the Brown Act and your own attorney, Lozano and Smith, they have an advisement for boards where it does not violate the Brown Act to respond to questions that are posed during this period, and it is completely legal to make these comments. So as, you know, I'd appreciate if you could just answer the question, like, how much is the contract?
60.
Per year?
The fiscal impact is $30,960.
You said 39 or 30? I'm so sorry.
3960.
Okay, thank you.
It's in the board agenda item 30.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment on item number 30? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to public comment, bring it back to the board for comment. Mr. Stewart.
I have a quick comment. Thank you for this. I think it's a really interesting tool. I'm glad that we piloted it and we can widen this pilot. We know how important it is to have kids feel successful and excited about learning by third grade. So the earlier we can identify obstacles that we can then help remove from their learning, I think is a great opportunity.
Well said. Any other comments from board members? Seeing none, this is a report possible action. Would you like us to approve this, Ms. Dixon?
That would be wonderful if the board feels that that would be appropriate this evening. Thank you, President Martin.
I'll entertain a motion in a second.
I'll move approval of the contract for Amira Learning Reading Difficulties Risk Screener 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
It's been moved by Kendall, second by Mr. Stewart. Roll call vote, please.
Kendall?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Santos?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Item number 31, public hearing. Assembly Bill 1200, AB 1200, public disclosure of collective bargaining agreement between the Lucia Mar Unified School District, LMUSD, and the California School Employees Association. Dr. Handy.
Actually, I get to jump in on the AB
Oh, I'm
1200
sorry.
disclosure first, President Martin. This
Okay.
is two parts, and Dr. Handy will actually be bringing the TA, which is the second portion, forward.
Thank you.
So this first portion is the public hearing. A little earlier this evening, you referenced the letter from Dr. Brusha stating that the district does, in fact, have enough money to pay for the costs associated with the tentative agreement with CSEA for this current fiscal year and the next 2 fiscal years.
Thanks. Any questions for Mr. Eichberger on this item from the board? It's a public hearing. So I'm going to open up the public hearing at 8:34 p.m. If anyone would like to provide public comment on this public hearing on the Assembly Bill 1200, public disclosure of collective bargaining agreement between the Lucia Mar Unified School District, LMUSD, and the California School Employees Association, please come forward. Seeing no movement, I'm going to close the public hearing at 1 minute, 8:35, and move on to the trailer bill, I'll call it, item number 32 for Dr. Handy.
Thank you, President Martin. The CMR Unified School District and California School Employees Association Chapter 275 reached a tentative agreement on March 20th of this school year in resolving reopener negotiations for the term July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2026. The tentative agreement was ratified by CSEA membership on April 6th. And before I provide a summary, I want to take an opportunity to highlight Ms. Carrie Wood, who is the CSEA Chapter 275 president. And under her tutelage and give some praise to the negotiation team, we were able to come to agreement in a session and a half, essentially. And I really want to commend both parties for coming to the table, seeking to understand and respectfully engaging when there were disagreements. And so I just want to say thank you, Ms. Wood, and to your team. So with that, the quick summary is we found agreement on Article 5 wages. So retroactive to July 1st, 2024, the salary schedule shall increase by 2%. The parties also agreed to the continuance of a career ladder committee to present recommendations for the 25-26 negotiations, and to new language regarding new higher step placement and updated language regarding promotional increments. One of the challenges of our CSEA partners is they represent so many different classifications. They have a large negotiation team. And so continuing this work in committee is going to be important work for us to do. So as Mr. Eichberger shared, the AB 1200 public disclosure was approved by our county superintendent, and it is recommended by the board to approve the tentative agreement between the district and our local CSEA Chapter 275, and the tentative agreement dated March 20th, 2025.
Okay, does anyone have questions for Dr. Handy on the TA? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Would anyone in the audience like to comment on the approval tentative agreement TA between the CMR Unified School District and the Classified School Employees Association, CSEA Chapter 275, dated March 20th, 2025?
I would.
Hi, Ms. Wood.
Hello, esteemed board. Thank you, Dr. Handy, for your kind words. Cabinet, I'm Carrie Wood. I'm the president of CSEA Chapter 275. And yes, a day and a half, we worked together swiftly but purposefully to reach this agreement. And our membership, I got a lot of great feedback from our membership. I mean, when the vote went, I want to say it was 90% were in agreement with it. We've been doing some bridge building. We've been just really, working really hard to just be transparent with our members and working with the district. And so, yeah, it was great. Mr. Eichberger provided, the information that we needed. We just understood, well, yes, we have many, many departments within classified staff that, it's just hard, but we just work together on that. And so Dr. Handy and members of the negotiations team for the district, I appreciate you guys as well. And thank you. I, as well as the rest of the membership, is looking for a hearty unanimous vote from you board members. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Would anyone else in the audience like to provide public comment on this item number 32? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to public comment, bring it back for the board for comment. Anyone on the board like to make comment? Ms. Naomi Bernier?
Yes, so Ms. Wood, I'm so happy for you. It's nice to work with you again, but in a different format. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? We'll all say we'll give it a wholehearted, okay, Ms. Carrie Wood? Okay. Looking for a motion and a second on item number 32, the TA.
Move approval, tentative agreement between the CMR Unified School District, LMUSD, and the Classified School Employees Association, CSEA, Chapter number 275, dated March 20th, 2025.
Second. It's been moved by Stewart, second by Santos. Roll call vote, please.
Stewart.
Aye.
Santos.
Yes.
Baum.
Yes.
Naomi Bernier.
Yes.
Fuller.
Yes.
Kendall.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes, motion passes 7-0 wholeheartedly, and thank you and hurrah. Okay, moving on to item number 33, Approval, award of contract to Precon Industries, Inc. as general contractor at Shell Beach Elementary School for the 6 new classrooms, project number 0581, Bond Fund 21. Mr. Eichberger.
Thank you, President Martin. As we continue our modernization efforts this evening, I do have a 6 classroom building that, or 2 buildings, but 6 classrooms that I would like to bring for approval this evening. It is going to be 2 new TKK classrooms, which are those jumbo classrooms with embedded restrooms, as well as 4 new 960 square foot classrooms. And this will include the new requirement of the rooftop solar and battery storage. That is a new requirement per DSA. Paulding Middle School, that build was the first of that new requirement. And after careful consideration, the staff would like to recommend the awarding of the general contractor for this project at Shell Beach Elementary to Precon Industries of Santa Maria for a total amount of $3,776,000.
Right. Does anyone on the board have questions for Mr. Eichberger about the new Shell Beach classrooms? Okay, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Would anyone in the audience like to comment on agenda item 33, the addition of brand new 6 classrooms at Shell Beach Elementary School?
Was Precon the lowest bidder for those projects?
Yes, Precon was the lowest bidder for those projects.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Hi, board. Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Virginia Roof, and I'm a resident here and also the parent of 3 children who attend Lucy M. R. schools. I am so excited to see all of the construction that's happening on our campuses around the district. It's just been wonderful to watch that. I have twins at Paulding, and currently we don't have an office, but the staff are all pitching in and making it work for that brand new building. So I'm really appreciative of the board and that we're also supporting local business while we're doing it. A win-win-win for our community. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to comment on this item, agenda item 33? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment, bring it back to the board for comments. Anyone on the board like to make a comment on this item? Agenda 33.
Just my quick
Mr.
comment.
Fuller.
We have 5 bids, which have a separation of $1,286,000 difference, or 34%. So, just want to say I see the value in multiple bids there. Otherwise, we could have spent $1.25 million more.
You know, we had a former board member, Mr. Fuller, who loved to see those bids be tight, and he loved to comment on them. So, yes,
Didn't guess who that
it
is.
is fun to see the bids and see how close sometimes they are. And here, sometimes they say when someone bids really long, they must not have wanted the job very bad.
Didn't need it.
Yeah. Any other comments from board members? All right, I'll accept a motion.
Move approval, award of contract to Precon Industries, Inc. as general contractor at Shell Beach Elementary School for the 6 new classrooms, project number 0581 out of Bond Fund 21.
I second.
It's been moved by Stewart, second by Naomi Bernier. Roll call vote, please.
Stewart?
Aye.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Kendall? Yes. Santos?
Yes.
Fahm?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. All right, moving on to item number 34. This was 112 pages, I believe. Some of them were blank, some of them were. This is item number 34, approval, second reading, revision of board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits. Dr. Fawcett.
Thank you for doing the heavy reading. I apologize for sending so much your way. These are part of a routine update that we do. Our staff has reviewed them. Each one of these updates are just updating our policies in accordance with law. If there is a policy on here, and I'll read them. Board Policy 0510, School Accountability Report Card. Board Policy and AR on leaves. 2, an AR on personal illness and injury leave. An AR, Administrative Regulation on personal leave. A board policy on leaves and an AR on leaves. Another AR on personal illness and injury leave. And another AR on personal leaves. another board policy and AR on leaves. So all these repeats are just updated board policies that are almost identical, but they're adjusted for the different employee groups we have between management, classified, certificated, and then there are some in here that are also related to students. So down at the bottom, you can see we have a board policy and administrative regulation related to student and family privacy rights, an AR for awards and for achievements. And then on the back of the page, we have some board policies and administrative regulations related to suspensions and expulsions and due process. A board policy for freedom of speech and expression, an exhibit for parent guardian notifications, and then board policies for hate motivated behavior, dropout prevention, summer learning programs, evolution of the instructional program. Again, all these rooted in law, and happy to answer any questions you have. And if there's an item that you wish not to take action on that, you could always postpone it to another meeting. So thank you.
Okay. Does anyone from the board have questions on these items? This is a second reading, so we've already kind of talked about it at our previous meeting. Ms. Pham?
It was just really long, and I need some more time. Sorry. I could. So I don't know how that goes.
It is really long. I've read it twice now because I accidentally didn't save my notes from last time.
I'll comment on that when it comes back.
So you could make a motion to postpone the adoption of these board policies, administrative regulations, exhibits, and bylaws to a future meeting to provide more time to process and read them. That is
Whatever
one motion
you
that
said.
could be made.
Is that what you'd like to do?
No.
But do we wait for public
Wait,
comment?
I need to go through the process,
Sorry.
but
Yeah.
you've asked if you can. Okay.
And there's the answer.
Is there any other questions for Dr. Fawcett on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. I do have a speaker card for Gary Adams for item number 34. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. I do have my wife and I serve the district, tried to do positive things to help out. But this particularly caught my eye to the point being made. I think my computer had 116 pages. So one of the things that I think is important that we don't railroad or process things without a lot of review. And then how do we get input on things that are going on? So based on time, I'm just going to bring up 4 things in brief that these policies cover that seem to be pretty important. One is parents' rights, both in consent and in notification. Another is language and use of surveys, third-party surveys. Another one is a new term called restorative justice, something that's coming up and needs to be defined. Number 4 is on health, immunizations, another hot topic. And the one I'm going to talk about is this 2-page on hate motivated behavior. So one of the things that this raises a red flag on is that we all know that the issue of hate speech has been used and weaponized. It's used to silence people. And so anytime I see anything like this, I could do a deep dive into what the language says. How could it be used? How could it be interpreted in ways that we do not want, including weaponization? Just read this morning, Las Vegas has a school district that's gone through a problem with this particular issue. And so I want to talk to this one more thing about it. On the second page, there is actually, I'm going to read this, superintendent or designee shall provide staff with training that promotes an understanding of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We all know that that's been a hot topic. Those 3 words have been railed around quite a bit in the last year. Starting back in June of 24, we had several companies get busted for that. And it's interesting then as the marketplace spoke out in behalf of consumers that don't want those kind of things shoved down their throat. There is the executive order, which I'm not going to read, actually has more information saying that we're going to associate DEI with things. So I would think that having a policy that basically says we're going to do more training on it would not be something that we would support. So I thank you for your time. And again, let's take the time to break these down and discuss the merits of them rather than throwing them all in one bucket and doing it at the end of the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Would anyone else from the audience like to provide public comment on agenda item 34? Being done, I'm going to close it to public comment and bring it back to the board. Mr. Fuller.
I have a few comments that might partially reflect to what Mr. Adams was talking about. I think in our sections, there's a series of 5,000. Everything in the 5,000 is a lot pertaining to the kids in surveys. And I think we need to dive in a little deeper and check this out. I have an opinion on all these surveys that are given to the kids where families can opt out. Just for one item, I'd rather say the families can opt in rather than put the responsibility on them. Families are busy, they overlook these things. We got a million things being thrown at us. In light of the seriousness of some of these surveys, asking kids about their sexual behavior or attitudes or personal beliefs and practices and family life or morality, religious practices, affiliations, or beliefs on the student and or his parents and guardian. I look at it and say, why do we need to know as a school some of those things? And I think the families should be given the ability to have, the school's responsibility to say they have to sign before we can do it rather than sign to opt out. But I would, when it gets to the point, I'd like to make a motion that we continue the 5,000 series and pass the 4 and the 6 for right now and go in a little bit deeper. Maybe get more family and parental involvement in this item. I don't think a lot of people probably are really understanding what all's in here. So.
Okay, so I heard two things. One, I heard Trustee Pham say that, 112 pages was a lot, and we probably need to give us smaller chunks next time, okay? And I'm hearing from Trustee Fuller that perhaps we could pass the school accountability report card, the leaves, personal interest, personal beliefs, the HR related things up to AR 4361.2. Is that what you're saying?
That is, and I'd be okay with 6177 and 6190, I believe, too.
The awards and all those things?
Summer learning program.
What about the dropout prevention summer learning program evolution of the instructional program?
That's in the 5s. I would.
Okay, you're saying the 4s and the 6s. Got it.
Right.
I have a question for Dr. Fawcett. Can we partially look at part of these
through a
policies
clear motion?
tonight?
You absolutely can.
Okay,
And
great.
then may I ask a favor too, after you're done taking your motion, if you give me a little direction on the number of pages you would like to see too, we could set a protocol for that. That'd be wonderful.
Okay, that sounds good.
I would like to clarify something because Mr. Fuller just mentioned about having an opt-in, and the policies that he's referring to, the questions are listed: political affiliation, beliefs, mental, psychological problems, sexual behavior, et cetera, et cetera. The policy says a student's parent, guardian, or a student who is an adult or emancipated minor shall provide prior written consent before the student is required to participate. So this is an opt-in situation. It's not an opt-out.
Okay.
I think you're maybe confusing that with.
I don't believe all these are.
So since there's some confusion here, and because we've been here for quite some time, and this was a lot of pages to digest, I'd like to go with Trustee Fuller's recommendation that for tonight, we consider the 0510, the 4,000s, and the 6,000s, and we'll bring back the 5,000s another time, because those are ones that are going to have some deep questions with staff and whatnot that will take up quite a bit of time. The 4,000s are mostly things that are HR law. That's all it is. It's human resources law that we are required to follow. And the 6,000s is, well, it's EDCO too, but it's not as questionable. What do you guys think?
Make the motion.
That would be for you to do.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
Did you have a question?
Oh.
Actually, I'd like it in whole to kind of review all of it all together. I don't, maybe, if this is just me saying this, in regards to our board, we have a board training coming up, so maybe we can add that.
You know, I'm going to disagree with you there. I've read these twice now. I've spent hours reading them twice now. This is a second reading. We've already had our first reading where we discussed a lot. And the 4,000 specifically, our HR law, we don't get to quibble with it. It's just what it is. And it would be nice for our staff to have the backing that we've adopted HR law that's in practice.
I appreciate your comment, but it's being submitted in whole, so why not maybe have a little bit more time to look at it?
Well, let's go with some motions and see where it lays.
I'd like to move approval of the policies excluding the 5,000, in the 5,000 range.
There's a motion already on the floor from Mr. Fuller, I think, right?
No, he didn't make
Okay.
a formal
I
motion.
apologize.
I think Ms. Kendall is making
Okay.
it for him.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Is there a second?
Would you like to second it?
Second.
It's been moved by Kendall, second by Mr. Fuller, to approve partial agenda item 34, approve board from school accountability report cards, leaves, personal illness, injury leave, personal leave, leaves, personal illness, injury leave, personal leaves, personal illness, personal injury leave, personal leave, and the 6,000, which is summer learning programs, evolution of the instructional program. I have a motion and a second. I've already had public comment, so roll call vote.
Kendall?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Santos? Yes. Baum? Naomi Bernier?
No.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item number 35. Oh, excuse me. Action, student expulsion, student discipline case number 242527, 242528, 242529, and 242530.
I would like to move agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion and suspension of expulsion. The Board of Education finds there is cause to expel from all schools in the district student case number 24-25-29 for violation of Education Code Section 48900C. It is further moved that the board adopt the recitals, agreements, rehabilitation plans, and readmission review dates set forth in the April 1, 2025 agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion with suspended enforcement.
Second. It's been moved by Kendall, second by Santos. Roll call vote, please.
Kendall?
Yes.
Santos?
Yes.
Baum?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
I would like to move agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion. The Board of Education finds there is cause to expel from all schools in the district case number 24-25-27 for violation of Education Code Section 48900C. It is further moved that the board adopt the recitals, agreements, rehabilitation plans, and readmission review dates set forth in the March 20th, 2025 agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion.
Second.
It's been moved by Kendall, second by Stewart. Roll call vote, please.
Kendall?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Santos?
Yes.
Baum?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
I move agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion. The Board of Education finds there is cause to expel from all schools in the district student case number 24-25-28 for violation of Education Code Section 48900C. It is further moved that the board adopt the recitals, agreements, rehabilitation plans, and readmission review dates set forth in the March 24th, 2025 agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion.
Second.
It's been moved by Kendall, second by Stewart. Roll call vote, please.
Kendall?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Santos?
Yes.
Fong?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
I would like to move agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion. The Board of Education finds there is cause to expel from all schools in the district student case number 24-25-30 for violation of Education Code Section 48900C. It is further moved that the board adopt the recitals, agreements, rehabilitation plans, and readmission review date set forth in the April 3rd, 2025 agreement and stipulation for immediate expulsion.
Second.
It's been moved by Kendall, second by Stewart. Roll call vote, please.
Kendall?
Yes.
Stewart?
Aye.
Santos?
Yes.
Fong?
Yes.
Naomi Bernier?
Yes.
Fuller?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you. And thank you for doing that. As the school year goes along, sometimes kids' chances are used up. And so we have more of that towards the end of the school year and very little at the beginning. Okay, before we move into public comment for items not on the agenda, I've received 22 speaker cards for items not on the agenda. Our policy is that we allow 20 minutes per topic, and typically 3 minutes each, but that's not how it's going to happen tonight because otherwise everyone wouldn't get to speak. So tonight, if you came here and you wanted to talk about
Title IX or transgender.
Title IX, transgender, gender identities, you're going to get 1 minute tonight. And I'm going to give a list of like 5 or 6 people, and I want you to line up and be ready to speak. Transitions take a long time. I have 2 speaker cards before that are not on that item, and I'm going to have them speak first.
If
Okay.
I could make a quick comment, I mean, obviously in light of a lot of people came out, which I appreciate. I wish the room was full like this all the time. But so you don't get shut down, I would prefer to make a motion that we extend the 20-minute time to 45 minutes so you guys can be heard. You've taken the time to be here. And
And I would second that.
along with students who got to go home and do homework, I think they should be able to go first myself. So
It's not a emotional thing.
It's not an emotional thing.
Okay.
We're going to start with our plan. There's always people that want to speak who don't submit a card, and we want to let them speak too. So, we also have a policy that we don't go beyond 10 o'clock without all of us agreeing to be here beyond 10 o'clock. Okay? So let's just see how this flows. For those of you that are new to our school board, you might have noticed our little traffic light over here. Since we're doing 1 minute, that's going to be tough for you, Dr. Handy. May I recommend you go to yellow at 30 seconds? Okay? And I'm going to need everyone's help. Now, if you want to do this nice and courteous, we're not going to clap. We're not going to make a lot of hooting and hollering in between speakers because that takes a lot of time. Okay? These people have to go to work tomorrow. Most of you do, and so do I. We have a lot of educators in the room and a lot of students in the room, and we all have to be our best in the morning. So please, to be courteous, we're going to line people up. I'm going to give you 5 people to start with, and then I'm going to give you 5 more and be lined and ready. We want to hear from you, but we don't want a lot of other extra noise that isn't public comment. Okay?
Could we get clarification? Can students go first if there are any so they can go home to their...
I tried to put some of the
You
students.
know what, we try, but we don't necessarily always know who all the students are. We're going to give it our best, okay? And that doesn't mean the students want to go home and not listen to everyone else. So I think they want to stay and listen to people. So, okay, so the first speaker, I'm going to give the first 5. Heather Wallace and Tyler Hubble. You guys are going to get 3 minutes each because you are not on that item. And then the rest is, and then after that, we'll go from there, okay? And Heather Wallace and then Tyler Hubble, you may have 3 minutes.
I just want to address that at the beginning of this meeting, I believe it was a violation of the Brown Act for Mr. Fuller not to be able to pull agenda item number 6. It states that for any agenda item, the public must be given an opportunity to comment before or during the body's consideration of an item. I believe that pulling an item does constitute consideration. So I think it's wrong and against the Brown Act that he wasn't allowed to pull that item. Thank you.
Okay, next one. Tyler Hubble.
Hi there, board. Thank you for having me, and hi, everybody. I put a card in for public comment under teen mental health. I'm not here today to talk about politics. I'm not here today to talk about contentious issues. I'm here today because I care for and value and respect every child here at Lucien-Mar Unified School District and beyond. And I would like to provide just a few comments that I think are very important for everyone in this room to know. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among children ages 10 to 14. It is a tragedy, and quite frankly, it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic that affects LGBTQ youth at a rate 4 times higher than the straight population. And we all know why. Stigmatizing, castigating, and targeted attacks like bullying and doxing, that we know disproportionately affects these kids. About 1 in 2 trans youth have considered suicide within the last month, and 1 in 6 have attempted suicide within the last year. This means every 45 seconds an LGBTQ child or young adult attempts suicide. That's 3 in the time that I'll be talking. This is a tragedy, and it's a failure. It's also important to know that policies targeting trans youth, maybe not meant to target trans youth, like the recent California Assembly bills, AB 89 and AB 844, that did not pass the House Assembly, and the recent executive order, or the order from the executive branch, make the issue worse. There's plenty of evidence that exclusionary anti-trans laws cause up to a 70% increase in suicide attempts among transgender and non-binary youth. And we know that something being passed will potentially increase the suicide rate within our community among young adults and children. Truly, empathy and respect for human dignity goes a long way. I don't pretend to have the answers, and I can indeed understand where a lot of people in this room are coming from. But I know that there is a way to talk about this with respect and in a responsible manner. But foregoing empathetic and thoughtful conversations and instead engaging in judgment and finger pointing, specifically targeting the most vulnerable population in this community, the ones most at risk for teen suicide, can lead to serious and potentially deadly consequences. We need to think about our words. They have immense weight, and they carry immense weight. So, thank you.
Hey, you guys, really, let's not do that because we got a lot. So I'm going to give you the first 5. B.B. Shaw, Celeste Duist, Shannon Kessler, Paul Masters, and Vanessa Rosso. B.B., you're up.
Good evening. My name is B.B. Shaw. I'm a 10th grader here at Arroyo Grande High School, and I'm the president of the Young Progressives Club. I'm here in support of diversity, equity, and inclusion in my school, and I stand against hate toward all of my peers who are part of the LGBTQ+ community. This includes all trans students. For as long as I've been able to walk, I've participated in sports, and ever since I've participated in high school sports, I realized what a privilege it is to be able to be a part of a team and represent my school with amazing people. I feel that everyone, no matter what they identify as, should be able to experience this. When I found out adults were coming to this meeting to dictate what students can and cannot do for our school, I knew I needed to combat this and support all the students in this school district who are being targeted by the members of our own community. Some adults in our community are claiming that having trans people attending our school and participating in school activities is causing psychological trauma, but I feel just fine knowing trans athletes are currently able to show school spirit and participate in our sports. It is sad to me that members of our community are willing to go out of their way to show hate to children who just want to feel comfortable in their own skin. I hope someday we can accept people however they present themselves and spread love instead of hate. Thank you.
Thank you. Celeste. Celeste?
I'm Shannon Kessler, but I'm going to give my time to Celeste, who is a current
We're
student.
not doing that. You're both here.
I'd like to remind you that you're not in violation of the Brown Act. To give us extra time, your act shortening our time is a borderline violation of the Brown Act. In fact, you could have changed this item. You could have moved it to any other point. You could have moved it earlier in the meeting, and that would not have violated the Brown Act. And in which case, you wouldn't have had to worry about staying so late.
I guess you're done. Okay, Celeste.
Hello, my name is Celeste Deist. I am 17 years old, a junior and track athlete at AGHS. Most importantly, I am a woman advocating for the renewal of female rights, which recently has been overlooked and disregarded. I implore all of you to help put an end to this current injustice. Recently, I went into the women's locker room to change for track practice, where I saw at the end of my row a biological male watching not only myself, but the other young women undress. This experience was beyond traumatizing. I must add, he is not changing in our locker room because he's in his track clothes, dressed and ready to go to practice at the beginning of the day. Therefore, there's absolutely no reason for him to be in any locker room, let alone the women's. Adults like yourself made me and my peers feel like our own comfort was invalid, even though our privacy was and still is being completely violated. The individual who identifies as female has XY chromosomes. Biologically complete, this makes him a male. Because females have XX chromosomes. This is basic biology.
Okay, please wrap it up.
Yeah. I just want to ask, what about us? We cannot sit around and allow our rights to be given up to cater to an individual that is a man, who watches women undress and is stripping away female opportunity that once was fought for us. Sadly, we have to try and regain our rights again. I hope you put effort into the restoration of our school safety. Thank you for serving our community.
Mr. Masters? Mr. Masters, please.
Well, I had a presentation here, but I guess I'll start with something heavy on my heart. I was holding my two twin, beautiful, identical girl babies, grandbabies that are 11 weeks old. And I just thought for an ironic moment that that was one of them, 16 years from now, going through this undue trauma. And I thought to myself, wow, transitioning must be an equal trauma. But I not only have the two twins, they're going to be on a track team with 20, 30, who knows how many other girls. And it's breaking my heart because this stuff doesn't have an easy answer. I do know in 10 years' time that enrollment is down significantly while the population in our area is up significantly. I'm a real estate sales professional and I know that. And I just want to end with this. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and then turn from their wicked ways, then I will be here from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. My 13 grandbabies are not going to be going to public school if this keeps up. It's crazy.
Vanessa Rosso.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm a concerned citizen. My boys did go to Arroyo Grande High School and since graduated, and I have two wonderful grandsons. It came to my attention that there is some awful confusion here with our school district, that we're recognizing things that are just not something that I'm accustomed to in my years of growing up. Of course, we all grew up in this board, I'm sure, with Mr. Rogers teaching us, and not with what we hear today. Okay. My boys went through the school system with parental permission to take sex education classes, and parental permission to participate with my permission. This permission is being taken away from the parents, and this is a grave concern for me. And also to say that watching what's happening here on campus with the children that are choosing what they want to be, not what they're naturally born to be, is very disheartening for our community to represent. Let's give them an opportunity, but in their own way, a gender neutral zone, because there are so many kids being affected in such a negative way. Now, when I was a young woman and I was in a locker room, I was changing in front of women, but I was actually almost assaulted in a female locker room by a man.
Please finish up.
So I'm going to finish up. But the problem is that we're not finished here. We have to continue to raise our voice to stand for equality for everyone represented. We can separate things that are a choice other than things that are natural. So we have to make a distinguished decision here. And that's where I'm going to stand, is on the decisions you will make and the decisions people make with their bodies. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next five are Amy Diest, Sharon Billen, Romana Garges, Rusty Doss, and Gaya Powell. And please note the green light at 30 seconds, the yellow light comes on, and then you're going to hear some gentle music. That means you really need to finish up, okay?
Hi, my name is Amy Deist, a current Lucia Mar parent. I am here tonight to request that you make changes to your current Title IX policy and fall in compliance with our federal law. Currently, you are allowing males in female-only spaces, such as locker rooms and bathrooms, and females in male-only spaces. This violates our federal law. Both of my kids are experiencing this violation firsthand at AGHS and Paulding. If my daughter came to school and complained to you about how her parents forced her to change her clothes in front of her brothers, that she hated how it made her feel, it stripped her of her dignity, made her feel vulnerable and unsafe, guaranteed the school would call CPS on me. So I am calling you out on your current policy, a policy that makes my daughter and her female peers feel vulnerable, unsafe, unprotected by their school. And not just my daughter, my son as well, and his male peers who are experiencing the same humiliation and embarrassment, having to share their locker room with a female.
Thank you. All right, Sharon Billen.
Thank you for hearing us out. My biggest concern is I'm so worried
Are you
about.
Royana?
I'm Royanne. Yeah.
Okay, Sharon's not here. No? Okay. Thank you.
Alrighty. My biggest concern is about the girls, actually all the kids. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible thing that all these children have to face. And being terrified, the transgender kids that are terrified in the locker room of their, biological choice is horrible. But then also girls being subjected to undressing in front of boys is also terrible. And I just think that we have to think about girls because they're just getting smushed in this whole, new way of looking at the world. And I'm so worried about girls. Our grandmothers and my mother, they fought for girls to be having safe places, safe bathrooms, safe everything. And I just worry about all these kids because it's tragic. And I had a son who did commit suicide. My heart goes out to all these kids. Girls have to be protected.
Thank you. Let's see. Mr. Doss? Mr. Doss?
Thank y'all for hearing us. So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created
them. Male and female, he created them. That's out of God's book. He created us male and female. There's got to be rooms for people that identify as transgender to change. We can spend millions to build classrooms. There's a solution for this. There's male change rooms, there's female change rooms, transgender change rooms. No one should be subjected to having to see that poor girl having to see a guy walking around nude in the women's locker room. That's unacceptable. Same if it was the other way. Unacceptable. There's got to be a solution. It's got to be a kind solution, but there's got to be a solution. Y'all got to figure it out, and we'll help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Powell.
Thank you for your time. I am really challenging you to be heroes and stand against the unjust and unconstitutional laws that Gavin Newsom has dictated that I know you guys are trapped in, and hopefully we can stop this insanity here and now. We need you to lead, be a district to lead California away from this insanity. Girls need their spaces. They need to be safe, and that we do not need to, buy in or feed the delusion of children that actually need emotional help. We need to help those kids, but we also need to protect our children. That, all kids have the exact same rights. No child has more rights than any other child. And I am looking forward to the next election period. And I hope you guys will step up so we can find some really great leaders in our community to lead us out of this insanity so we can get back to common sense and critical thinking and get rid of this woke mind virus. And thank you, Mike Fuller.
Okay, the next 5 speakers are Emma Gillens, Mike Silva, Curtis Henry, Jennifer Stover, and Kathleen Mink. Emma, you're first.
All right. Hi, everybody. So I was a student at Arroyo Grande High School and graduated in 2017. As a young queer person myself, I definitely experienced a lot of discrimination from my peers. I remember walking through the hallways on campus and hearing slurs directed at me. And there was even one time where I was spit on campus, just for the person that I loved. It is disheartening to see such a push to exclude transgender athletes from participating, especially because I now work with trans youth, and many of them have experienced intense bullying, both physical and verbal, across campuses. If this young trans student is not allowed to be in a girls' room, if she is forced to change in a boys' locker room, what will happen then? Are we concerned for her safety? Statistics across the nation have found that trans people are at a much greater risk of being harmed than being the people to do harm. And I just really hope that we can hold on to that moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Silva.
Thank you, Board. I'm appealing to you that in determining policies affecting student well-being and also impacting district employees doing their jobs, that you would not accommodate gender identity separate from the physiological reality of a person's gender. There are only 2 genders, male and female. This is a scientific fact and not a choice. All facilities, educational processes, and athletic programs should be managed according to this reality. If an individual chooses to identify with a gender contrary to their physiological gender, it must not be imposed upon students or staff. If an individual wants to choose their gender, they can do that on their own time. Insisting that gender is fluid and must be accommodated within a school district negatively impacts the communal realities of school life. Let parents or guardians navigate instances of gender dysphoria. Don't overstep your role. Don't waste taxpayer revenue. Operate the school district within the practical reality of only 2 genders, male and female.
Thank you. Mr. Henry.
Hi, thanks for your time. I'm a father of a child in the Lucy Mar School District. These things really concern me. I couldn't help but to notice that the gentleman who shared some statistics about teen suicide and LGBTQ community didn't share about the huge discrepancy in those who continue in the transition process and how much higher their suicide rate is than everyone else's, but I digress. So the Lucy Mar School District currently faces a significant risk of litigation. I just want you to be aware of that. There's already been $360,000 of settlements that school districts have faced with issues just like this one in California alone. And I don't think you want to be next. Ohio, $450,000 in settlements. Virginia, $575,000 in settlements. I just want to say, if this plea for you is not enough to protect my son from these ideologies and girls like Celeste, if that's not enough to convince you, then maybe you'll consider the financial hit that you might take. So just consider that. I think you all should consider the drop in enrollment that somebody else mentioned across the districts, because it's because of things just like this. I have tons of friends who have pulled their kids out of the school district, and I have more kids that I could put in the school district. I see ya. But if it goes this way, and if you keep going down this path, that will not happen. And many friends will come with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Stover.
Bathrooms and locker rooms in public schools can be risky or dangerous, embarrassing places. When I was in middle school, I was spit in the face by a girl while in the locker room. My son was accosted by another boy in a bathroom at North O and had a group of girls at Bellevue Santa Fe hold the door of the boy's bathroom open to expose him to all the other kids. Bathrooms are risky because they are spaces that are away from sight and adult supervision at times. Locker rooms have traditionally been unsafe spaces for teens where bullying or hazing may occur. As my examples show, it has nothing to do with gender identity. Sports are also risky. There will be larger and smaller bodies competing, will have differing amounts of muscle mass and bone mass and skills and abilities to control their actions. This is an accepted part of every sport. Football is a prime example. Kids that are instead, but they are not asking us to protect smaller football players from larger ones. Instead, they are targeting some of the most vulnerable kids within our community, kids that are targets for bullying, kids that need to be scared of other kids in and out of bathrooms and on sports teams, kids that already have a higher rate of depression, anxiety, and suicide. I implore the school board to use every legal tool available to you to stand your ground. Your community will back you up.
Kathleen Mink.
My name is Kathleen Mink. I taught for Lucia Mar for 32 years, and I've been retired now for 10 years. I brought this just to illustrate a point. In 2013, I received the California Teachers Association Human Rights Award. It says, for exemplary contributions in the area of human and civil rights. I think that highlights the fact that teachers know that protecting the civil rights of all of our students is an important part of our job, because children who feel good about themselves are better learners. 2013 was also the year that the Fair Education Act was passed into California law. That's SB 48. It mandates the inclusion of the LGBTQ and disabled communities in K-12 social studies and history curriculum. Why did this law pass? Because studies have shown that including these communities leads to greater student safety and lower rates of bullying. I was going to give an example, but I'll have to skip that. I just want to conclude, it's easy to help children, gay, straight, or trans, feel good about themselves by simply including them in all aspects of their class and school community. There should be no downside to helping any child feel valued.
Okay, the next five: Gina Whitaker, Virginia Roof, Trisha Oxner, Julia Vogue, and Jesse Hudson.
You for having us tonight. I'm Gina Whitaker. I'm a member of the Unitarian Universalists in San Luis Obispo, a faith that truly believes that transgender and gender diverse people are a beautiful and divine manifestation of humanity. We condemn all legislation that seeks to erase transgender personhood and diminish the rights of all people to express their gender in a manner consistent with their true selves. Thus, I also condemn any and all removal of language that protects students from discrimination. State legislators have written thoughtful legislation that seeks to treat all people equally when it comes to honoring their gender identity and their safety. Directives from Donald Trump to simply do away with such considered language are capricious, hurtful, and hateful, seeking to erase the very identities from transgender and LGBTQIA students will only result in more damage than any that could come from getting along together and practicing inclusion and acceptance. We are all different. Celebrating these differences leads to creating healthy attitudes in our kids, who then may become compassionate adults. Let's leave language alone that seeks to welcome and include everyone, and show our children that everyone has a place of importance in the human family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I introduced myself before, but my name's Virginia Roof, and I'm the parent of 3 children who attend Lucy Mar schools. So I'm here as a mom, and I've also been an educator for over 20 years, so I'm here as a teacher as well. I have devoted my life to education. I am so proud of what Lucia Mar has brought to my kids. I have a daughter who identifies as LGBTQ+. She did not want to come tonight because she was afraid. And I'd like everyone to pause on that and think about our vulnerable kids, our kids who need our protection. I saw someone holding up a Protect Trans Kids sign. My daughter's best friend is trans, and it hurts my heart to see the comments here tonight attacking those kids. And so I encourage your board to stand behind California law and what we know is right, and including all of our kids and making it a safe place for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trisha Oxner. I wanted to say that I work with all students in our high school population. Among others, I have provided safe harbor in my room for transgender students who have been marginalized, harassed, physically abused, and bullied by their peers. I support every student on our campus to achieve their goals. It's sad that being able to play sports and live their lives as they are is causing this witch hunt. I don't know the answer either, but I sincerely hope that it involves empathy. As educators, it is our responsibility to provide a safe environment so all of our students can learn and grow into responsible and empathetic adult members of our community. And I am proud to work for this district that always emphasizes kids first, and I hope we continue to do so.
Thank you. Julia.
Hi, my name is Julia Vogue. I'm a community member, former student of Lucia Mar, former teacher, did my student teaching at AGHS, and parent of students who've graduated from Lucia Mar and were athletes. I want to remind everyone that we have a separation of church and state. It seems many have forgotten that. And I believe if other religious texts besides the Bible were being used as a basis for policy, I don't think anyone would be cheering. To oppose diversity, equity, and inclusion is to promote segregation, division, and suppression, none of which have any place in public school. Inclusion does not cause harm, but there are examples of hatred and bigotry contributing to bullying, increased instances of youth suicide, and general lack of safety for the most vulnerable in our community. To use the language that is derogatory toward the LGBTQ youth sounds very similar to language that has been used to condone segregation of people based on race and ethnicity. This is simply hate of a different shade, and I won't stand for it. I implore our board to continue opposing bigotry, segregation, and institutionalized bullying. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hudson?
Hi, my name is Jesse Hudson. I'm a resident of South County, and I was a former student at LMUSD Schools. I'm here speaking for myself and on behalf of the local San Luis Obispo County chapter of 5051, a national resistance movement against the Trump regime and its many disastrous, inhumane, and unconstitutional policies. Policies like the ones that local church groups and anti-trans activist groups would have you and other school boards in this county institute in our Central Coast schools. The religious right likes to posit itself as the party of protecting children. Well, the current GOP is trying to pass a law in the name of protecting young girls, HR 28, the so-called Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act of 2025. This law, the ACLU has officially denounced this law and has urged the Senate to vote no, because it does not protect young girls. In fact, it does the exact opposite. This law and any policy following its example would open the door for parents of students to be able to accuse innocent young cisgender girls of being trans simply because they don't fit into the mold of what a religious conservative thinks a young girl ought to look like, and force themselves to submit to a genital check in order to prove they're the biological sex that they claim they are before they can participate in sports. That's barbaric. That is nothing short of state-sanctioned sexual assault, and we can't stand for that here. Thank you.
Jeff Metcalf and Cynthia Brown. Jeff Metcalf and Cynthia Brown, you're going to be right after him.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Metcalf, and I've been a citizen of Arroyo Grande for 40 years. My children are alumni of the school district, and I want to ask the board and my fellow citizens to consider this. Truth, goodness, and beauty, the three transcendentals. And if we would focus more on that than trivias, I think we would all be better off. And I think it'd be better if people respected the timing.
Thank you. Cynthia Brown. Cynthia Brown?
Cynthia Brown, 73 years old.
Can you
I was an
speak to the board, please? Yeah.
I was an emergency room.
If you speak in the mic, we could record you.
Emergency room nurse for 40 years. And I also went to school in the 60s in an all-girls Catholic school. Well, guess what? Back then, it was all the queers. Well, guess what? My whole school, we went undressed in front of people. Those poor people had to pretend they weren't what they were. Is that fair? There was never one incident in that dressing room. Later, when we finally got together for our reunions and things, we found out that some of these people were trans and some were gay, and those people are educated and they are productive citizens in our community. I want you to know that I stand for you. I am here for you.
Talk to us.
I am there for them. As an emergency room nurse, I saw what they went through. I've seen it in my community. And I only hope that you stand by and don't let these people convince you to do anything else. Let's not go back in time. Let's not go back to the 60s where these people had to hide and they were threatened.
Thank you very much. All right.
Is there a reason she got 2 minutes?
I was trying. Did you see me? I've been trying with everyone. I was trying, and thank the person next to you for directing her attention my way. I appreciate it. Before we go on with any more public comment, I'm going to make a statement, and then I'll see if anyone else in the audience would like to make public comment that I don't have a card for. So just time out. Hold on back there. I see you. Okay. Recent changes to federal policy and guidance have prompted important discussions within our community about issues that impact our schools, like you've been talking about tonight. As a local school board, our responsibility is to implement both federal and state laws, and we cannot create any policies that conflict with these laws. We do not write them. Okay. Laws are created at both the federal and the state levels by the United States Congress and the California legislature and are beyond the board's authority. All those policies tonight, we didn't write them. They came from Labor Code. They came from Ed Code, right? We encourage community members to share their perspective directly with their elected officials who represent us at the state and federal levels where these laws are made, including State Assembly Member Don Addis, State Senator John Laird, and U.S. Representative Salud Carbajal. Information on how to contact them can be found on their representative websites or on ours, okay? So just so you know, I know you've all concerned about something that we don't write about, just FYI. So if there's any other public comment on people in the audience, I'd like to hear from you. I saw, please come up. You have public comment, and then if there's anyone else after that, we'll accept your public comment. If it's not on the trans item, you can have 3 minutes.
Thank you. It is not. So, Colleen, you made a show of people not making comment. As you're facing a federal lawsuit for First Amendment retaliation currently in the Western District Court, I don't think that you should be violating anyone's free speech any further or trying to. And I'm really disappointed that I had to sue Miss Handy, Miss Martin, Mr. Fawcett, Miss Pierce, Miss Whitney, and Miss Wilder for bullying my daughter, for violating our First Amendment speech, and simply because I advocated for her. And while you have these policies and procedures, they all don't really mean anything because you don't follow them. And then you have your attorneys say that you have qualified immunity. So even if you did all of the things I said that you did, it doesn't matter because you believe that you're exempt. Well, we'll see how that plays out in court. I mean, there's Hartville v. I believe it's Manana School District, and that's out of Phoenix, and that was decided in March, which literally says what you guys did to me is First Amendment retaliation and would be illegal under the Constitution. So I'm really disappointed that you bullied my daughter, and you had people like Virginia Roof here crying and saying that her student was bullied. She participated in the defamation of a 9-year-old student in this district, and so did you, Colleen Martin. In fact, you made the post that was reposted on Friends of Lucia Mar, assigning me and my 9-year-old to an organization we're not a part of, making innuendos that the police somehow maybe made us leave and that we were violating the laws. No police made us leave, and you know that, Colleen Martin. I wish that any of you were sorry. I wish that any of you reached out to me and said how sorry you were that my daughter was suicidal from the bullying that happened. Not one of you did. I had to pull my daughter, and I encourage all of the people behind me who have an issue with what's happening to their children to pull their children out. My family couldn't be happier. And this board has taken too much government control and doesn't care about parents and doesn't care about the students. That's the truth.
Hi there, please just share your name if you'd like to.
My name is Cheryl DeBlau, and I have a student at Rio Grande High School. And I feel it's important to mention that sex is a binary, and there are only male and female. And every human being in this room came from originally an embryo. That embryo was formed from a sperm and an egg coming together. There's only one sex which produces sperm, and that's a male. There's only one sex that produces an egg, and that is a female. And just because you remove the body parts that produce the sperm, it doesn't mean that that person is now going to produce eggs. And the reverse is also the same. And so, telling children that they were born in the wrong body or that they are the wrong sex is incorrect, and it's not true, and it confuses them. And you should not require young girls or young boys to be sharing their changing rooms with the opposite sex. I really hope that people in this room can study the science and learn and understand the truth.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jill, and I would like to thank all of you for serving our community and the teachers as well. I think teachers have an incredible job, and I think many of them do it very well. I have to say I'm really sorry for the way this evening has gone. I feel so much emotion from both sides, and I think it's very heartfelt and very personal. And I think that that is very important. And I think everybody needs to be validated in what they feel. I don't think this issue is about transgender being right or wrong or our values being shoved down anybody's throat. I think this issue is about making our kids feel safe. Transgender kids, straight kids, women, young men. And that's where I'm sorry the way this evening has gone. So I apologize to those of you who have felt belittled, who have felt threatened, who have felt scared. As a community member, I apologize. And I think it was Mr. Doss said, there's an answer. I think we need to find that together. So thank you very much, all of you, who served. Difficult evening.
Mm-hmm. Would any other person like to provide comment on items not on the agenda tonight? Please come to you. 1 minute, unless it's not about.
It'll be much quicker.
Great.
One quick thing. Forcing 20 plus underage girls to disrobe in front of a biological male is child abuse, sexual abuse, and should be treated as such. And that's what you're doing in violation of an executive order.
Thank you.
This is just an administrative question. Are you saying that what we're saying to you tonight will have zero effect? Is that what you're saying? That you
What
have
I'm
no?
saying is, we follow the law.
But isn't the federal and the state in conflict with each other? I
It's
believe
not
that's
on
the
my
case.
agenda to be able to answer that for you tonight.
Okay.
But I'm
But you
saying
did
is
do
it
an
doesn't matter
explanation.
how I feel.
I
I
know.
need to follow the law.
I'm saying you did do an explanation which kind of put a wet blanket on everybody's understanding here
So
on the
because
power
of-
that we have with you.
So what I'm telling you is that we don't write that policy here at UCMR. We don't have educators
I
and,
get 2 minutes.
and administrators sitting here writing policy. We get the policy from the federal government and we get it from the state. And we follow it because it's our law.
And they are in conflict.
Sometimes they are.
What we're talking about here
But
is
they're
in conflict.
fighting it in the courts right now, and that's why we're not addressing it right now.
Can we ask you which one to follow?
You've all given us your public comment.
But you do have something to say about it, is what I'm saying. If we're saying follow the federal, you have a choice. Follow the state or follow the federal. That is the point.
Well, it's not on our agenda tonight. We're not going to be discussing this tonight. We're taking your public comment because it's not on the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay. This is the last call if you would like to speak on items not on the agenda.
All right, thank you. So I spoke about 3 meetings ago about the Constitution, and one of the things I offered is everybody to take classes. Nobody so far has taken me up on that in here, but the idea of the restoration of the original intent of the Constitution was to put governance back to the local level. So the city councils and the school boards are supposed to make their own policies. So there are multiple school districts actually in this county and in the state that have taken that role back. They're not waiting on the state government or Bonta to tell them what to do. However, I understand the logic to that. It's very dangerous you need a counsel, attorney to advise you what to do, but you can take matters in your own hands and actually run the school district, set policy in accordance with the original intent of the law.
Thank
you.
Okay. We are almost to the time. We don't go after 10. This is why I didn't entertain the motion for the 45 minutes, because we're at 45 minutes already or over. So please share your 1-minute comment with us.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we have 9 minutes till then, so I won't take all that time. Thank you this evening to all of you that have attended. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in this public forum. I appreciate the opportunity to be heard, exercise my First Amendment right, and that's what I'm doing tonight. I appreciate you listening to my plea for you to declare where you stand on issues, bring them forth, bring them before the board, bring a proposal, bring something that you can discuss and something that you can vote on so that we know where you stand and you can lead us. That's why we elected you. So please help lead, help us understand where you're at so that we can decide how we vote, where our money goes, where our feet go. We want you to help lead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Does anyone else in the audience want to provide public comment?
I would personally like to thank Mr. Fuller for agreeing with that the state and the federal government are in disagreement. One public comment. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first time in this boardroom, to be honest with you. And being a mom of a 35-year-old and a 30-year-old, it's exciting to see what Lucy Elmar has done over the years for our children. So I applaud our school board. Dee has been on the board for many years, and I recognize a few faces, but it's new here. And I just encourage you guys, on behalf of everyone, that we are all passionate about what we believe. But what it most is boiling down to is equality. And if somebody wants to have equality, we have to put everybody in perspective of this is you, and this is you. There are now 3 yous, in my opinion. And so that's what we have to decide. There has to be three parts now, not just 2. Male, female, and you can choose because it's a choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to provide public comment tonight on items not on the agenda? Are you coming forward, sir? Okay. All righty. Good evening. Okay, this is the last call for anyone who would like to provide public comment on any item that's not on the agenda. Being done, when my gavel goes down, it's not a must. Okay? All right. So thank you for coming tonight. I'm closing the public comment, bringing it back to the board for adjournment. Our next meeting is May 6th, 2025. Spring break is next week. I hope you enjoy, and be sure and read all the information about the traffic pattern in front of the high school because things are going to be changing. Thank you very much.